In just a moment, X-1. But first, your home will be filled with the voices of top entertainers and fascinating experts in the homemaking field tomorrow when Virginia Graham and Mike Wallace bring you another broadcast of NBC's Weekday. Among the special guests is Rita Gam, Hollywood star and one of Grace Kelly's prospective bridesmaids. And Rita will be joined by a singer whose unique style is well known to his many fans, Johnny Ray. Then from Britain, it's actor Trevor Howard. Meet them all tomorrow when NBC's Weekday brings you another day of fact and fun on this station. Now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC.
Countdown for blast-off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, a story by Frederick Pohl, Tunnel Under the World.
On the morning of June 15th, Guy Burkhart woke up screaming. Ah! It was more real than any dream he had ever had in his life. He could still hear and feel that sharp, metal-ripping explosion, that searing wave of heat. He sat up.
Mary! Where are you?
Guy, what's wrong? You're trembling.
Where were you?
In the kitchen cooking breakfast. What is it?
I don't know, a dream, I guess. An explosion.
Did you say an explosion?
Yes.
But that's the dream I had.
What?
I dreamed there was a big explosion, and then something sort of hit me on the head.
Holy smokes me. Maybe there really was some sort of explosion, and it started us dreaming.
Well, there'll be an explosion down at your office if you don't hurry and get to work.
Coming in on the bus, Burkhart watched to see if there was any evidence of an explosion. There wasn't. If anything, the town looked better than ever. The only thing that seemed strange to him was the fact that none of the usual crowd was on the bus. He was a little relieved when his old pal, Henry Swanson, finally got on.
Excuse me.
Henry!
Pardon me, sir?
Henry, what's the matter with you? It's me, Guy Burkhart.
Burkhart? Sorry, I don't believe we've met.
What? Henry, for Pete's sake, it's me.
If you'll excuse me, this is my stop.
Well, I'll be... How do you like that? Guy Burkhart got off in front of the gigantic Contro Chemical Building, took the elevator to the 98th floor where he had worked in the accounting department for 12 years. It wasn't until he was almost at his floor that he realized the speaker was not playing the usual commercials.
Friends, are you happy with your present home freezer? Of course not. Well, the answer to your problems is a Fecco freezer. Fecco freezers are better freezers. Most wives would do anything for a Fecco freezer. Friends, are you happy with your present home freezer?
Morning, Miss Horn.
Good morning, Mr. Burkhart.
Well, new hairdo, I see, huh?
Why, yes. Do you like it?
That makes a lot of difference in your appearance. Mr. Barth in?
No, sir. He had an appointment with Mr. Dorchin of the Human Research Institute.
Today? But today's the 15th of June. He has to sign the quarterly statement.
He said he wouldn't be in.
Huh, that's mighty peculiar.
Yes, sir.
Oh, by the way, Miss Horn, what the devil is a feckle freezer?
A feckle freezer?
There's some new copy on the elevator commercial. Dorch must have landed another account. Feckle freezers.
I really don't know, Mr. Burkhardt.
It's a funny day. Can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something strange going on.
He couldn't shake the thought out of his mind. It persisted all through the day and through dinner. He was still brooding as he and Mary got ready for bed.
Tired, dear?
Oh, no.
Anything wrong?
I don't know.
Well, I guess I'll get a good night's sleep. Coming?
I think I'll sit up and read for a while.
Well, good night, darling.
Night, dear.
At exactly midnight, Guy Burkhardt lapsed into a sudden, deep sleep. And the following morning, he woke up, screaming.
Darling, what is it? What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Bad dream, I guess.
Oh, you gave me such a shock.
I seem to be having a lot of nightmares lately.
Really?
Yes, the one I had yesterday. This was the same. A big explosion and then nothing.
You had a dream yesterday?
Well, of course I did. You had the same sort of dream.
I? Guy, you're mistaken. I don't remember dreaming.
Oh, now, Mary, you told me.
Guy, you're mistaken.
But, Mary, you...
Maybe you dreamed I had a dream. Maybe...
Oh, yes, I might have done that, I suppose. Everything did seem sort of strange yesterday.
Oh, that's probably it. You better get dressed, dear. Today's the 15th. That's when the quarterly statement...
15th?
Yes.
Well, it must have been a dream, because yesterday was the 15th.
Guy Burkhardt got up, dressed, ate breakfast, and took the usual bus to work. Once again, everything seemed even brighter and newer than usual. And once again, he was puzzled when he noticed none of the old crowd on the bus.
Pardon me, please. Oh, look, don't shove so. Oh, morning, Henry.
Morning. For God's sake, don't talk to me.
What is it? You being followed or something?
Don't you know? I was sure you remembered.
Remembered what?
I can't talk. This is my stuff. Will you excuse me, please?
Well, Henry, for Pete's sake.
As in yesterday's dream, Guy Burkhardt got off at his stop and took the elevator to the 98th floor. The speaker in the elevator purred a new commercial this time.
Marlin cigarettes. They're sanitized. Does your present cigarette make your throat feel raspy and unpleasant? Marlin cigarettes contain a miraculous new drug which actually gives you the sensation of smooth, creamy smoke. Marlin cigarettes. Marlin cigarettes.
He walked down the marble corridor to his office.
Good morning, Mr. Burkhardt.
Good morning, Miss Horn.
Do you like my new hairdo?
Yes. Is Mr. Barth in?
No, sir. He had an
Appointment with Mr. Dorchin at the Research Institute. I know.
You know?
Well, I guessed it anyway. And today is the 15th of June, and he won't be here to sign the quarterly statement, and I'm going nuts. Let me have a cigarette, will you?
Yes, sir. Try one of these. They're Marlins.
I never heard of Marlins before today. What are we, a bunch of guinea pigs?
Something wrong, Mr. Burkhardt?
Wrong? Perish the thought, Miss Horn. Perish the thought.
He went to his desk and stared at the mail. Before he opened it, he knew that the factory distributor's envelope contained an order for 12 new electronic computers. He knew that the development journal contained an article about a new method of transprinting selective brain circuits of human engineers onto the electric brain circuits of robot engineers to facilitate the operation of automatic factories. He knew that there was a complaint from Feinbeck & Sons about the Contro Chemicals' newest household robot circuit. After a long while, he forced himself to open them. They were exactly as he suspected.
Hello.
This is Swanson, Henry Swanson.
What is it?
Do you remember?
Remember what?
Just remember.
All right, now listen, Henry. Let's stop playing games. Yesterday, either I was dreaming or you snubbed me on the bus. Today, the same thing happens.
Oh, you do remember, thank heavens. I thought so when I saw you, but I couldn't be sure.
Well, what is it you want?
Listen, tomorrow morning, when I get off the bus, you get off with me. Be casual. They may be watching.
Who may be watching? Swanson! Hello!
You buzzed, Mr. Burkhardt?
Yes, I'm still out of cigarettes. Would you buy me a pack of Kelvins?
Wouldn't you rather have Marlins?
I smoke Kelvins.
But, Mr. Burkhardt, Marlins have that soft, creamy smoke that's so soothing to your throat.
Oh. You really believe that stuff?
Well, it's true. I wouldn't say this, Mr. Burkhardt, except that, well, I've gotten to know you pretty well, and I've grown to admire you so much.
I see.
Would you mind, Mr. Burkhardt, if I told you that for months now I've wanted to, well, just comfort you? I know how troubled you've been.
Well, you've never mentioned your feelings before, Miss Horn.
April. My first name's April.
Oh, that's a pretty name.
You see, I do have your welfare at heart. That's why when I see you smoking Kelvins and I know Marlins are so much better, won't you let me buy some of them for you, huh?
Well, I suppose so. Why not? Here, bring me a carton.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Burkhardt. Guy.
I think you ought to go.
I'll be back.
There was something wrong. Something definitely peculiar about what was happening. The call from Henry Swanson. The strange behavior of his secretary, Miss Horn. These new products, the dream. Guy Burkhardt went home that night feeling like a man in a nightmare.
Is that you, dear?
It's me.
Did you have a good day?
Fair.
Oh, before you sit down, will you go down in the cellar and put in a new fuse? The switch in the hall closet blew out. I shut it off.
Okay.
Supper will be ready in a minute, so don't start fooling around with that old boat hull you've been building.
I won't. Mary! Mary!
What is it?
Come down here. Hurry up.
What is it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I was looking for a fuse, and I thought maybe I'd dropped one under the boat hull, so I scratched around. Look. Let me put the flashlight on it.
Well?
Look at the floor.
What about the floor?
It's supposed to be cement.
Well?
Well, it's copper. There's a thin layer of cement, but underneath it's metal. Look here. Underneath the concrete, more metal. And here on the wall. You see? Metal. Metal under the floor, behind the walls, every place.
Well, I don't really understand.
Mary, I know this sounds crazy, but somebody, for reasons I can't even begin to guess, has taken this house and replaced it with a clever imitation.
Guy.
Mary, I'm going to look around a little more.
Well, your dinner will be ready.
All right, save it for me. There are a couple of things I've got to figure out.
The following morning, Guy Burkhardt woke up screaming. He dragged himself into the kitchen where his wife Mary was preparing breakfast and discovered it was still June 15th.
Mary, where's the morning paper? Where is it?
It's outside the door, I guess.
Uh-huh. June 15th.
You'd better hurry, dear. Today's the day Mr. Barth fills out the quarterly tax return.
Oh, no, it isn't.
What?
He won't be there. He'll be at a meeting with that crackpot Dorchin at the Human Research Institute.
Mr. Dorchin?
He'll be there. And Miss Horn will have a new hairdo, and the elevator will be selling some new product, and Swanson...
What about Swanson?
Swanson, he said... I wonder if it's going to be the same today, or whether...
Guy, what in the world are you talking about?
Nothing. Never mind. Where's my coat?
You haven't had any breakfast
I don't want to miss my bus. I'll see you tonight.
Guy Burkhart got on his bus. There were the same unfamiliar faces, the same unusually new-looking buildings, the same unusually bright sunshine. And on the customary corner, Henry Swanson, pale and furtive, climbed aboard.
Excuse me, sir.
It's quite all right?
Do you remember the phone call?
Yes.
Oh, thank heaven. Get off at the next corner and follow me.
Where are you going?
There's an excavation for a building about a block down. Make sure you aren't followed. I'll go first. Burkhart. Here, behind the fence.
All right now, Henry, what's this all about?
I'm not sure. At first I thought perhaps they were Russians. Now I'm beginning to think they're Martians. No humans could have accomplished what they've accomplished.
Now, wait a minute. Start from the beginning, Henry. What's going on?
Look, Burkhart, peculiar things have been happening to you, right?
Yes?
A lot of your friends are missing. Your house seems changed.
Yeah. There's something stranger than that. The date. Today is June 15th. Yet I could swear yesterday was June 15th and the day before that.
You got it, friend. It's always June 15th. And you and I are the only ones who know it.
But why, Henry? How?
I'm not sure. I think it's some sort of mass hypnosis or something.
Well, why doesn't it work for us? My wife, Mary, doesn't remember a thing.
Somehow, when it happened, they missed us. We were protected from the full force of the rays or whatever they used. Burkhart, where were you on the night of the 14th, about midnight?
Let me see, that was Sunday night.
Yes.
Yeah, I was down in the cellar under the boat I'm building.
I was in my darkroom developing some pictures.
This just doesn't make any sense to me. Russians, Martians. What makes you think that?
I've seen them.
Where?
At the end of the tunnel.
What tunnel?
The one they built under Tylertown.
A tunnel under Tylertown?
Yes, that's right. It's made out of copper or some alloy.
Copper? Wait a minute. I found a copper layer under my cellar floor last night.
So did I. That's how I discovered it. I found a way to get in, too. It's at the bottom of this excavation.
Holy mackerel. Henry, why don't we tell the police?
Because we can't trust them. Even the police may be Martians in disguise.
Oh, come on now. You're being melodramatic.
Oh, am I? Well, you just come with me.
Where?
Into the tunnel. I'll show you.
Henry Swanson led Guy Burkhart to a small hole in the side of the excavation. There he removed a cutout piece of metallic substance, and they crawled into a dimly lighted tunnel. They walked for what seemed like 2 miles until Swanson held his finger to his lips.
We've got to be quiet now.
Henry, this is fantastic. They've got a tunnel right under the whole town.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. There's a room a little farther down. We'll be able to look through a glass in the door.
Is it safe?
It's perfectly safe, unless one of them comes along. Oh, come on.
Okay.
Here. Now, Burkhart, look through this glass. Now, just so I know I'm not completely insane, tell me what you see.
Good Lord.
Well?
A tremendous panel with dozens of telescreens. And in front of each a servo robot. They seem to be computing something.
Yes, I watched them. They're evaluating data from the screens.
Have you gotten a chance to look at the data on those screens?
No. I've been afraid to go in. There might be a warning circuit somewhere.
Well, if we knew what those robots were working on, we could go to the authorities.
I'll risk it if you will.
All right, it's worth a chance. We're lost anyway.
Okay. Open the door. So far, so good.
Come on. Let's take a look at that data.
But don't interfere with the robots.
Don't worry. Here, let's look at this screen. Listen to this. Tests in the 47K12 group with Marlin cigarettes pulled 80% using the soft feminine approach. Indications are that an extension of this approach would influence at least 70% nationwide. The direct elevator pitch pulled only 10%. This should be abandoned and a new series of high persuasion personal elements introduced.
Henry, do you know what this means?
I haven't the faintest idea.
I don't blame you. This is crazy, but it fits the facts when I think about it. Do you know who's behind this?
Martians?
No, not Martians, Henry. Humans.
What?
Humans who are interested in developing the perfect propaganda machine.
What?
I don't know who they are or how they've done it, but somehow they've taken Tylertown over.
Hypnosis.
Hypnosis, drugs, maybe some kind of array or something. However they do it, what happens is that they let us live through a single day. During that day, they pour all kinds of suggestions and propaganda into us. At the end of the day, they evaluate the results, see how we've reacted. And at midnight, they wash the day out of our minds, and the next morning we start the same day over again with different stimuli.
Do you know what that means, Henry?
Suppose one man learned how to influence people 100%. Why, in a year, he could sell us anything from freezers to political candidates.
Oh, wait a minute.
We're guinea pigs, Henry. This whole community is one big test tube for Dorchin's propaganda research.
Burkhardt, what do we do?
I don't know, but somehow we've got to get out of this town and get to the FBI.
What do you think we can?
It's worth a try. Come on.
Wait.
Huh? What is it?
Look through the door. There's somebody coming down the tunnel.
We've got to hide.
Behind the circuit box. Wait.
Good Lord, it's Dorchin, the head of the Research Institute.
Shh, quiet.
All right, Burkhardt, come out. We know you're in this room. Miss Horn has informed us that you remember. I must warn you that it's useless to buck us. Come out peacefully. Let our maintenance crew adjust you properly so you don't remember from one experiment to the next. It will be quite painless. If you don't come out peacefully, we'll have to get you.
Henry, take this wrench. When I give the word, jump him.
But he may be armed.
Well, we've got nothing to lose.
Very well. I'm coming after you.
Now! Burkhardt, I've killed him.
Now, wait. Get his coat unbuttoned. Maybe his heart is still beating.
Henry! What is it? What's wrong?
Look underneath his coat.
Heaven help us.
It's a robot. A humanoid robot designed to look like Dorchin.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Wait.
What's that?
It's a loudspeaker.
I told you it was useless, gentlemen.
Who are you?
Mr. Dorchin, naturally. The real Mr. Dorchin.
What are you trying to do to us?
Merely trying to prevent you from damaging my experiment, gentlemen.
You can't get away with this, Dorchin. Sooner or later, somebody, the FBI or somebody, is going to get wind of this madness.
Really, Burkhardt, you're quite naive. Now, why not be reasonable and let the maintenance crews adjust you?
And if I refuse, I suppose you'll kill me.
That would be quite impossible.
Oh?
You see, Burkhardt, you're already dead.
Dead?
You're shocked. It's quite true. You and everyone else in this town were killed by a premature atomic blast at the Condro chemical plant. The blast occurred at 7 a.m. on June 15th. That is the last thing imprinted on your minds. That is why you wake up screaming each morning.
No, it isn't true.
But it is. What I and my associates did was take the brain circuits from your dead bodies. We stored them in electrochemical batteries till we had a chance to rebuild the cities and begin our tests.
Do you think I believe a fantastic tale like that?
I imagine you find it incredible. Of course, we didn't rebuild everything exactly. After all, it only has to last for a single day, June 15th. At midnight, we turn off the power and wash out the memory of the day. You and your friend Swanson, unfortunately, have defective circuits. You remember.
Burkhardt, it's no use. We're trapped. Give up.
No, not me.
What can we do?
We can make a run for it down the tunnel. Come on.
It's useless, Burkhardt.
Keep going.
It's useless, useless, useless.
Now, this door is open. It opens. Oh, no. No, I don't believe it. Swanson, look.
They were standing on a ledge of smooth, finished metal. At their feet, the ledge dropped away into a chasm so deep they could not see the bottom. Beyond was only a glare so bright that their eyes could not stand to look into it. And yet, just at the limit of their vision, something towered. Something so huge it was almost inconceivable. Something.
Burkhardt?
Yes?
This is Dorchin. Now do you understand why it's useless?
The great looming figure moved closer. It seemed to take shape now, and yet it was so gigantic as to be unbelievable. It came closer. The glare was partially blocked. And then, Guy Burkhardt knew that the towering shape was none other than Dorchin himself.
You see how I did it, Burkhardt? I took your brain circuits and had them reduced so they could be transferred to tiny humanoid mannequins. That's what you are, Burkhardt. A tiny miniature of yourself. And this city, this whole experiment I'm conducting, is built on a tabletop.
It was the morning of June 15th, and Guy Burkhardt woke up out of a dream screaming.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features another story by tonight's author, Frederick Pohl. It's the second installment of his novel, Slave Ship. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
morning, weirdos. Howdy. How's it going? Just chilling out, drinking some coffee. How's things out there in the world? Because from where I stand, it ain't looking real good. So I try not to look. Because there ain't nothing that this crazy old weird bearded guy can do to make anything different. I've tried. I keep trying. I produced a human that I hope will help change the world. But I'm burned out. I can't do anymore. I realized too late in life how important it is for all of us to be concerned. Yeah, I just put together this film last night, an educational film, and it is, what is it called? Gee, I don't think I got the title. Pollution. It's a matter of choice. That's what it is. 1970, first Earth Day year. Pollution is a matter of choice. It's a two-reeler, which means they're two 20-ish, 30-ish minute reels. I put them together so it's one less than an hour movie. But now I'm getting all itchy. That happens when I start talking about the planet. It makes me frustrated. But that'll be uploading early in August. It is a matter of choice. Pollution is a matter of choice. Destroying this planet's a matter of choice. We chose this path. We did. This always happens when I dream. I try not to dream. Usually I don't get enough sleep to dream. Last night I got to sleep a little bit early, so I actually got a little bit of dream time. It was not fun. It's not that they're nightmares. It's just that the dreams are too vivid and real. Right? Sometimes I get up from a dream and I don't know that I'm not still in that dream because I think that dream is reality. So dreaming can be a real bummer, especially if the dream is so real that you don't realize that when you wake up, and that it's so timely. I don't know, it's so now. Usually when I dream, it's kind of a hodgepodge of past and present and unknown imagination, right? And lately when I dream, it's more about reality. And when it's that real, yeah, you either don't want to wake up or you don't want to go back to sleep. You know, it's just too real. And when you got people in those dreams who you either haven't seen or you're not going to be able to see, or you can't see, people you want to see, but yeah, it gets pretty real. It's hard to take in the mornings when you get up after some really real dreams like that. And you kind of have to battle with how much of that is actually meaningful? You know, how do you interpret stuff that is so close to reality that it could be reality, right? I don't know. Once you start fucking now, you know. I stopped using my bong mainly because it uses more weed when I smoke. So I decided to stop using my bong to see if it would ease up on the amount of weed that I'm going through. But at the same time, I'm not getting a clean smoke now because it's not going through water. So I'm coughing a lot more at night. It takes a little time to get to sleep. And then I'll wake up early in the morning to take a leak. And when I stand up, I get a coughing fit. And then when I try to lay down, it's just congested. Just horrible. It ain't good. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do here? Yeah. So I got a couple of more things to load up. I got them put together. That's Incredible and a Nova. I put together a Nova last night to save, but of course my computer decided to go on the fritz. So I'll have to try to save it out again. Ain't that special? I wonder if it saved it. I wonder if it saved it. Hey, it did. It actually saved it. Okay, so I've got my Nova. Artists in the Lab, and it's a lot of great new style art in 81, right? Computerized graphic design stuff. Stuff that it's commonplace now, but back then it was like, you know, ahead of the curve, big time. So that's cool. I'm glad that's saved. So I've just got to create an In Search Of tonight and upload those two, and next week is ready to go. Now, as far as next month, I've got all of my X-1s finished. I've got all of my shadows finished. I've got 5, 6 episodes of The Shadow done, ready to go into the can. One a week for 5 or 6 weeks. Today I'm going to be working on Dragnet. I've got to create 6 Dragnets for the month of August, and then into September, just in case I start to lag. I'm ahead of the game. And then I've got to create 6 Nero Wolves, 6 Gildersleeves, and 6 Night Beats, right? And then I've got to create a couple each of other shows. The Lone Ranger, Philip Marlowe, Suspense, that kind of stuff. To fill in on Old Time Radio Wednesday, where we have double the radio shows. Right? I love making the programming. It's so fun. It's so cool. It's totally cool. It's totally cool, dude. Yeah. Gnarl. Gnarl. I've uploaded, or I've actually created out of borrowed content. These are old educational films. So I scrounge them up, and then I tack a little bit of stuff on them. A little black and fade in, a little black and fade out. And then I put my little title thing on there. And then I save it out in the correct file so that it means something. It's not just a hodgepodge of words in the file name. I try to create a meaningful file name so that you don't have to wonder, well, what the hell is this? I don't understand what this file name means. So there's that. And, oh, man. The pain just says, forget what you're thinking about. Just forget everything right now. And then I do. So, yeah. I'm just about ready to... Yeah, I've got... meetings, bloody meetings, right? That is when what's his face left Monty Python, he I've got about 6 movies here, and then a bunch that I don't even have any information on in my computer already. I'm just going to take everything that I've got, educational movie-wise, and I'm going to just create it all into content and stack away an August file. I'm just going to put them all into an August file. Okay, here's my August file. Then I'll take that file, open it up, and then I can add each thing into its place on a day. Bada bing, programmed. So it's different with the radio shows. I just dump the radio shows into where I create them. You know, I dump the graphics into a graphics file. Here's the audio. And when I go into my editing program, I load up the graphics from the graphics file, the audio from the audio file. And then when I'm done, they all go back into the files, back into the graphics file, back into the audio file. And then there are my videos right there in the same file. Eventually it'll all get into a catalog file where I can have everything listed that's been uploaded. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun job. I really do need another external hard drive for that job, so I can just pull it off of one hard drive and shunt it onto another and be done with it. Just title it, give it the number. YT cat number, right? YouTube catalog number. Because I've got a lot. There's over 150 videos on my channel. Over half of that is just uploaded content. Wow. That's a lot of uploaded content. You know what? I'm hoping that at some point somebody will say, wow, there's a lot of stuff here to talk about, and stop by and talk. You know, let's talk TV. Today is totally Television Tuesday. Let's talk TV. Last night we watched MacGyver, and that was good. That was it's good. He's always going to some village, right, to help some people. This time they were on a train, right? And they were outside India, right? And there were some banditos and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And then, of course, The Love Boat. I watched a 2-parter yesterday with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. They actually, the marquee, the first thing up was Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and there was like 1 million chicks there. And I was like, oh, wow. And not one of them could act their way out of a wet paper bag. You could tell that they were really giving this opportunity to a couple of the cheerleaders. And they really couldn't act worth a piss. They could do cute, and they could probably do whatever the director told them to do, but they couldn't act. No more than the average person, you know. Daddy, please, I want this, can I have this? There's acting for you, right? So no more than the average person. Uh-oh. There's that clingity clang. Yeah, what are you going to do? See, at nighttime, I don't bang on that thing with the mic on. I only smoke in the breaks. Because it's a family show. I want people to start bringing their kids to listen to nighttime nonsense and nostalgia. So I don't do anything. Pardon me. I don't do anything or say anything on that show that's offensive to anyone. The biggest offensive thing on this show is probably my bong standing off to the side there. That's probably the only adult thing about my old-time radio show, right? In fact, last night I was thinking, you know what? I've got to get my graphics situated on this thing so that I can just bring in graphics over the top of an image. I'd really like to be able to have my shot. This is the nighttime nonsense and nostalgia, right? That's the scene that you get, and then you get me down here going, hey, I'm announcing, right? So what I'd like to do is get my old-time radio in that spot. And then at some point, while the artist is playing, be able to tap on a graphic and have their image superimposed over that picture and a little caption of their name, right? So you can start to see who these people are, because they're really interesting looking people, right? I mean, I'm playing stuff from 100 years ago, you know, and it's just audio. So I'm thinking on enhancing it a little bit with some images of the era. Maybe I'll put together some slideshows for songs, so I can put on a song and then pop up a slideshow that plays kind of during a couple of songs or something. I don't know. Or create some music videos with this old-timey music, so that on occasion we can watch a little something along with the music. I'm not so worried. I'm not so concerned about visuals, right? Because this is an audio program. It's a radio show. Yeah, there's pictures and I'm here and there's video happening and images moving and stuff, but it's a radio show. You know, the only reason I'm giving you the visual of me here is because that's what I remember from when I was a kid, watching my old man do the exact same show inside of a radio booth, right? Big glass wall and all kinds of controls and dials and reels and tapes and stuff. And it was really, really cool, right? So I last night I'm in bed and I'm dreaming, half between dream and awake, and I'm thinking about how appropriate it is for me to be at the end of my life doing what my father was doing at the beginning of my life, right? So some of my earliest memories are of my father doing this old-time radio show, right, in the booth at Pasadena City College. And those were my earliest memories. That college, that radio booth, his Willie's Jeep, our dog, the canyon, the Sierra Madre Canyon house, those are all my earliest memories, right, that I can put together in some kind of understanding, right? My earliest memories, I'm about 2 years old, I'm in a chicken coop, locked in, there's a chicken pecking at my feet, I'm crying, my brother is holding a piece of shit on his hand like an ice cream cone, telling me to eat it, and he'll let me out, right? And then I remember being rescued by my mother, who's holding a baby, probably my sister, and I remember the sun going down, and I remember an orange sky, orange and blue, and I remember that damn chicken pecking at me, and my brother just, eat it and I'll let you out. And the bummer was that I was in so much pain that I was tempted to eat that fucking ice cream shit and get the hell out of there, right? That's the bummer. And I was just at the last minute rescued by my mother. Yeah. But those are also my earliest recollections of the feeling of being different and not belonging, right? Having this overwhelming sense that I don't belong here. This is not my place. These are not my people. This is not my family. Why am I here? Right? And that probably goes back to some earlier flashes, not memories, but flashes of being with two other people, two other parents, two other people. A little bit older than my parents. And I remember being with them for a flash. And that also coincides with my middle name, which is Vaughn, Baughan, Vaughn. And being told at an early age that these were my grandparents. I mean, not grandparents, my godparents. So these are my godparents. And at the same time, I remember the story being told of my mother getting pregnant by her father and having an illegitimate child and then putting that baby up for adoption. And all of these things tie the whole story into a neat little package for me that says that I was that baby, I was that rape baby, and that I was given up for adoption to the Vaughn family. And then my father comes home from Vietnam after having left his new family, right, wife and baby in Vietnam, to come home to find out that now he's the father of an illegitimate baby. And not wanting to put blame on a baby, he decides, well, we're going to keep the baby, right, and we'll raise it as our own. Never telling me anything, figuring I'm too cuckoo to be able to deal with it. And the bummer was that throughout my whole life, not knowing was the issue. Not being told I could have dealt with whatever had to be told to me, right? Given enough time and understanding. It explains a lot, right? But not being told was the bummer, right? Not that all of these things happened that caused me, but not being told the truth by anyone and being led down these paths into things that weren't me, right? So all of a sudden, 50 years later, I start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and now everybody's gone, and nobody can help me organize these pieces into a picture, right? So I'm just fucked. Nobody wants to come and say, yeah, this is what happened. You're right. Oh no, you're wrong. This was actually this. Nobody wants to. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're afraid that I'll freak out. I've already freaked out. I freaked out 20 years ago, okay, and 30 years ago, and 40 years ago, because I was left out of my own fucking loop, basically, and everybody else knows. I mean, I'm sure that my parents, being who they were, had probably told other people, including my siblings and some of my friends, about me. But don't tell him. Don't let him in on it. I'm sure that one of my closest friends probably knew, because he was really close to my father. I'm pretty sure that at least one of my siblings knows the truth. I'm pretty sure that my aunt knows the truth. Parents are gone, so they're never going to tell me. There's nothing left behind for them to, But the real kicker was how my father treated me so extra special, right? He treated me way different than he treated the other kids, which was the clue. That was the main clue. Because I was treated so differently. My mother used to call me Golden Boy, right? Because I could do no wrong in the eyes of my father. Why? Because he wasn't my father, and he wanted to make me feel like he was, like it was okay, like don't worry about it, it's not your fault, you were just a baby. And he used to tell me these things all the time, hint, hint, yeah, babies are not responsible for where they're born, you can't blame a baby, He always used to beat around the bush, but he would never come clean and just tell me straight out, look, this is what's going on. A lot of times they tested the waters by telling me things, but me not knowing where they were going, they were just things they were telling me, right? Yeah, it's like, okay, so I might have an adopted half-brother out there somewhere, yeah, that's it, No, I was that baby, during the time my father was in Vietnam, he tells a great story about the Christmas of '67 in country in Vietnam, during the time that I was conceived. So where the hell did I come from? If he was there having babies over there, then she was over here having a baby with someone. Who was that someone? Was it my grandfather? Was it somebody else? I don't fucking know. Surf baby, rape baby, boardwalk baby. Who fucking knows? Nobody's going to come clean and tell me. Maybe they don't even fucking know. Maybe she don't know who my father was. That's possible. That's possible with their history. It's quite probable she just didn't know who the fuck my daddy was. They never wanted to get married in the first place. They were forced to get married because she got pregnant with his baby. And that was it. They're forced to get married, boom. And then he's forced to go to Vietnam. I'm sure she was partying like crazy, you know, having a blast. You know, she would just dump the babies off at grandma's or grandpa's house or something. And then be out there just fucking partying. You know, old man's in Vietnam trying to keep from being killed and trying to raise another family over there, right? So, you know, I'm 50-something years old and I start getting hit with all of this shit. All of these new pieces to the old puzzle that never seem to work out right. It's that puzzle you got. And it's like, where's all the pieces? Huh? I can't even see what the fuck the puzzle is about. Somebody give me some more pieces. Well, I get a whole bunch more pieces, but now there's nobody to help me put those pieces where they go, right? Yeah. And it just really gets frustrating, you know, really gets frustrating when you know that somebody knows more than they're willing to let out, you know. God, I'm a big boy. I think I can handle the fucking truth, you know. I don't have to worry about any mental health issues that I have being passed on genetically, all right? It would explain a lot about you know, part of the reason we lost our first baby. But at the same time, I get nothing to worry about with my kid. You know, none of whatever happened to me has been passed on to her enough that it's you know, make her question her whole life. What the fuck's wrong with me? You know, that's me. But there ain't a whole lot of time left, so it's like I'm not going to figure I'm going to get an answer. They're just questions at this point. Probably questions without answers. What are you going to do it? I don't know. I worked more on the swamp cooler last night. I really did. I went out there and did the water adjustment thing. It seemed to adjust just perfectly so that it's not dripping. It goes all the way up to the right level and stays at that level and doesn't drip out. So now we went to follow the line down to where it goes, and of course it disappears up under the mobile somewhere. But while we were down there, my wife says, oh look, where I put the new filter on was leaking from both ends. So I pulled off one end, trimmed the copper tube back with my little pipe cutter, attached a new fixtures to that, put it on, no problem. The other one was still leaking, so I popped that one loose, could not get it tight, don't have another one to replace that, so I put it on as tight as I could, and it's like, all right, well, we're going to have to get that one replaced now. Everything's pretty much ready to go. That is pretty much it. I need to make sure that level, water level, stays consistent, and replace that connection, that compression fitting, and try to find that line. If it comes up into the house somewhere, I've got to maybe check the bathroom. Hopefully I can locate it. I don't want to get under the mobile. I'm too big and it hurts too much to squash I can't even bend over to look down into the fridge to see what's on the top shelf. And if you put something on the top shelf on top of something, it's gone, right? It took me 2 minutes to find my creamer this morning in the fridge because it was so far back and so high up. You know, I had to get a crick in the neck just to get it. So yeah, hopefully we'll get that situated today. We've got to go out and do a dog nail trimming today. Take the dogs to get their nails trimmed. The two boys. The girls are easy to do. My wife can just grab them, hold on to them, clip, 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 clip. They let her do anything to them. Mom rules. Mom's in charge. Mom says, and you do it, right? And all the dogs are like that, except for the boys. When it comes to trimming their nails, they don't like to have their feet touched. So rather than us traumatize them and then have them be pissed off at us every time we touch their feet, we let somebody else do it. and let them hate those people. And then when they come home and they're laying there in bed, I can reach over and pet their feet and touch their feet and squeeze their paws and stuff, and they don't get all, you're going to give me a nail trimming. So that's important, to be able to hold hands with my dog. Huh? No, really. I will put my dog's paw in my hand and just lay it there and kind of give it a little squeeze. And my dogs love it, you know. It's like whispering sweet nothings into their ears. They just love it. You start whispering into Sam's ear, and he'll just look off. He'll just look off into the distance and just listen and listen. Yeah. Here I sit, broken-hearted. Period. No limerick, no funny, just period. My wife went next door to make papusas with the neighbor. Some were filled with zucchini and cheese, and some were bean and cheese, and they looked cool. They were little tortilla-looking things with stuff inside of them, like a little enclosed, right? A little encased in tortilla-type stuff. They looked cool. My daughter said they were fantastic. My wife loved them. As soon as I stuck my face into the food, all I could smell was peanut oil. I'm saying, what kind of oil did you use to fry these things? And she says, we didn't fry them. Oh. Well, what kind of oil? Well, there's no oil in them. Is there any peanut? No. Well, why the hell do I smell peanut butter? I said, put some jelly on this damn thing, because it smells like peanut butter, and I'm not going to be able to eat it, because if it smells weird, it's going to taste weird, right? And that's it. I'm screwed. So it's like, you know what, I can't try to eat this and enjoy it, right? So I'm not even going to try. So I made myself a half a roast beef sandwich, a hot roast beef sandwich. Because I know how that's going to taste, right? I can only eat stuff that is either so new to me that I have no idea of what it might taste like. And then it's like, oh, well, this is different. Or, oh, my God, this sucks. But when it comes to, stuff I've eaten before, there's only a handful of items now that I can really stomach eating because of the taste anymore.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer, bummer. Hey, bummer.
I can't even do eggs anymore, right? I can't do regular Best Foods mayo. I walk through my house and all the foods I see now, it's like, nope, 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 nope. Well, I'm going to starve. I'll just grab an Ensure. That's no bueno. I think I ate 4 or 5 times yesterday, but I didn't eat a lot. I ate a cereal bar, a pice of French toast, a part of a microwave burrito, roast beef, half a roast beef sandwich and cheddar, and a handful of cookies and a big tall glass of milk. And that was everything that I ate yesterday. That's like a third of what my daughter eats every day, right? She eats every 2 hours. Every 2 hours she comes in, she eats something, and that's it. She's on a regular eating schedule, and it works for her. You know, her metabolism just burns it up. I can't do that. I cannot do that. I used to be able to do that when I was busy all the time. If I ate every 2 hours, I would just have a big belly. I wouldn't gain any weight anywhere else. I would just get a big belly. That's it. But even that's hard to come by, a big belly. I was sitting in here getting things ready, rebooting computers and stuff with my monitor on, and I yawned and stretched, and I didn't have my shirt on, and I went, oh my God, I can see my ribs, right? Not only that, I can see my broken rib. I haven't been able to see that in like decades, and I can actually make out this broken rib here. There's a shadow that falls in behind it, where there's this big hunk of mended bone right here, right? and it hurts in certain kinds of weather. But I don't even want to show you. It's a big old gnarly thing there, and it was hard to see it before because I was always so fat in the belly, right? And now it's really visible. I think a lot more things are going to become visible in the near future. I hope I make it till next year. I honestly don't really feel like I'm gonna. I honestly don't feel it. Well, whatever it is, I just hope my heart gives out before the pain of the horrible pain kicks in, right? Yeah. There you go. There you have it. There it is. You need to go outside? You want something, baby? All right. Let's see if she wants outside. Might as well warm up the coffee, too. You gonna come hang out with me, Sam? Here, get your bed. Right here, yeah. Yeah. Come on, you lay down here, I'll get you a blanket to cover up with. Come on. Come on, Sam. Come on, Sam. Come on. Come on. No? You wanna go back with Mom? Or you wanna go with Natalia? You wanna go outside? Alright, outside you go. Boy, these guys, they just run me ragged in the morning. That was one of the things I was dreaming of yesterday, whenever I was dreaming, was of a doggy doors. I was dreaming of doggy doors on our bedroom doors, so that I don't have to keep opening and closing doors all the time. You know, and then I'm thinking, do we put big doggy doors on them so that big dog can then take herself through? I don't know, because she'll squeeze herself through the smaller doggy door, but I don't think I want that. I want to put a big doggy door on our backyard outside door. That would be neat, so she could take herself in and out. Our doggy doors on the bedroom doors. I think I'll just go with the small ones. Right. I mean, she can stick her head in and go, hey. That'll work. That'll wake. Hey. Hey. Totally. chair here that's doubling as a easel. And below that chair is a pile of tools and materials, screws and tape and stuff for my metal duct work. And I've just kind of got my tools here because we're not done yet and I don't know what I'm going to have to dig into. So it's like, all right, we'll just keep my tools here and then tomorrow we'll go out and we'll work on it some more. So today, this morning, we're going to go out and we're going to do the dogs. So one of us can stay in the car with the dogs and the air conditioner, and I'll run in and grab some more parts to fix this friggin' thing, and then probably this evening we'll go back out there and we'll try it again. I refuse to work out there during the day. That's why I retired, because we live out here in the desert where it's always miserable outside. The heat's not so bad if you're just in it and out of it, but when you got to be in it all the time to work, or gosh, if you're homeless, I don't know how the homeless. I don't know how Bush does it, standing out on the corner with his sign during the day. Oh, that would kill me. It would kill me. He's a hardy guy. He's a robust guy, though. He's not. I'm not saying that he's a big guy. He's just. He's very healthy, and I'm not. If I tried to stand out on a corner for an hour, it would kill me. Right, especially during one of these days out here. Of course, he's my age. We're about the same age, and yeah, I just ain't as healthy. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. I really got to get my shit together. I've got so much work to do for this reunion. And it's like all I can manage is just being here in this place right here, right? This is about it, I can get up, I can live, I can do things here, move around, enjoy what's going on here. I try to do much more of that, and then it ain't so fun anymore. I was thinking this morning, laying in bed, trying to go back to sleep at 2 or 3, and I was thinking, you know what? Maybe during this week, if we've got a free day, the missus and I will shoot down to Elsinore and do some things down there and get some of this legwork done, And I think I asked her the other day, hey, you want to just, take a drive, take a couple hours, take a drive, go down, have some lunch, spin around, do a couple of things. She's like, yeah, well, maybe. So, just gas and lunch. No big deal. Of course, things are tight right now. So, not only are things slow with work, but every month we're hit with bills, those annual bills that pop up. AAA, roadside just popped up, that renewal, boom, a couple $100. Right alongside the usual car insurance, boom. And then, of course, we just got through paying off this computer here, a few $100 a month. And now it's car registration, period. So, boom, we just did mine, a few $100. We just did mom's small, a few $100. Which just means that because things are really slow right now, that we got to keep dipping into the savings and dipping. And, that's why the savings is put there. It's like, okay, well, if things slow down, what are we going to have to take care of down the road? We'll make sure that we've got enough of that so that when that happens, we're done, and we're done. Things are slow, but things are taken care of. Yeah. Now, at some point, I don't know what the hell that means. The point is usually on the top of my head. Been seeing a lot of Sid Haig in TV. He's always popping up everywhere. Barnaby Jones, Chips, MacGyver. He was on MacGyver twice this last season. Once as an Arab guy with a big mustache. And then he was an Indian guy with no mustache. Same accent. Same horrible Sid Haig accent. Not a great actor, Sid Haig, but he did his thing. He had his way of doing things, and that was it. You know, everything he did was pretty much the same. You know, it was either turned up or turned down. It was an exaggeration, or it was, you know, he was holding back. But it was always a Sid Haig thing, you know. Yeah, like Frank Gorshin, that guy. Everything he did had his own little slant on it, you know, everywhere from the Joker to that shrink guy on the movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, and he just plays a doctor, right? He's just a shrink doctor. There's a few minutes in the movie, but he makes that few minutes his own. It's like, wow, that's him. That's Frank Gorshin. That's him. Yeah, I really love actors like that. It was like we were watching TV and saw a little snippet during a preview or one of those, hey, look at our channel, we stream these movies thing. And it was a little snippet out of the movie Strange Wilderness, right? And it's the scene where Justin Long is explaining why he's got these eyeballs tattooed on his eyelids, right? And he goes over and he covers up my favorite actor. He covers up Ernest Borgnine's ears and says, well, I was smoking pot, right? And Ernest Borgnine is just like, what the hell is going on? He's just so hilarious in that movie. If you're gonna watch an Ernest Borgnine movie, yeah, Stranger Things, you know, Ernest Borgnine and Justin Long and that weird little smarmy guy that's what is his name? I think he was in Bottle Rocket. Anyways, Holmes. Yeah, great fucking stuff. Totally cool. Can you dig it? Can you dig it, baby? I can dig it. Can you dig it? It's Tuesday. It's trash day. So the trash man should be pulling up any time. 'Cause he's a trash man. Yeah, he's a trash man. So, I'm going to rustle my papers here. What do I got here? Here's some TV stuff. Here is an LP called Here's Johnny. His Magic Moments from the Tonight Show, right? And this is a great 2-record set, right? 4 sides of audio from his best guests, right? And then on the back, you've got a bunch of pictures of the different guests, and it's a few of some of the guests, right? So that's really, really cool. I've also got that same thing on 8-track, and believe it or not, I've got it on VHS as well. That same set, and the VHS set is like 6, I think, 4 or 6 cassettes. I'll have to dig that out. Now that is some television right there. That is classic. Just some great, great stuff. And what's neat is having it in the 3 different media, you can enjoy it. I mean, take that 8-track and jam it in your car, and now you're laughing down the road, right? Throw the LP on, sit here at home, listen with your friends, hop in bed, put it on the VHS, and sit there in bed late at night watching old Johnny Carson. I mean, that's just classic stuff right there. Classic. It's classic. It's totally classic, dude. I-553, you know, in the I am. Oh, I'm shaking it, but don't breaking it. Yeah. I'm really trying to avoid thinking about what's going on right now in the world. We're given so many opportunities, right, in this world to make things right. The unfortunate part there is we're given more opportunities to fuck things up, right? I feel like making the predictions, because every time I make a prediction, it's right. But I don't want to make a prediction, because I don't want it to be right. So maybe if I don't make the prediction, it won't come true, right? Because I was right about a lot of things, and I never mentioned it to anyone. I may have, but just in passing, and maybe it never stuck with anyone. That, you know what, Michael said that was going to happen. I don't think that ever happened. But there were a lot of things that have come about. Most recently was the whole stay at home for 6 weeks thing. I saw that one coming years ahead of time and planned for it. And I knew the writing was on the wall well before it happened. And I told my wife years before it was going to happen that, look, this is going to happen and we need to be ready for this, right? And that was probably one of the last things, aside from a few world things that have taken place recently. And I try not to think about the stuff out there. And the less I think about it, the more I'm able to just sit here and go, I think this is going to happen. And then that usually happens, right? I don't want what I think is going to happen, so I don't even want to talk about it. But I will say that things look like they're happening randomly and chaotically, and it looks like they're just happening, right? And they're well planned out things. All of these things have been planned out. You know, everything that has taken place in the last few weeks, the last few years, the last decade, all of this stuff has been planned out, rewritten, scripted. All of the players, they sometimes they change the cast a little bit, right? But it's all been scripted out, planned out ahead of time, right? So, yeah, I don't want to make any heavy predictions about what's going on politically in this country right now. Because I have to, if I do that, I have to point the blame at everyone, you know, in this country right now. It's our fault that all of these things are happening. Why? Because we allow ourselves to be manipulated and controlled by dogma, rhetoric, propaganda, bullshit. Period. you know, and so many of us are blind to that and refuse to see any of the realities that are right in our face, because we're so likely to believe the bullshit that comes to us from on high through that little idiot device in our hands, right? So many things are going wrong right now. There's so many ways to change what's going on, right? Nobody wants to think about it. Everybody's too worried about duck-face selfies and memes and cat videos and going to parties and sporting events and just trying to be distracted. They don't want to think about reality. Reality hurts to think about, so let's think about something else. You want to hear reality? My wedding ring is about ready to fall off, right? If I shook my hand like that super hard, if it was wet, like if I'm drying my hands off like this, bing, there goes my ring bouncing down the road. Why? Because I'm shriveling up and I'm shriveled and drying up and blowing away here. The only thing holding it on is this fat knuckle, and as soon as this meat around that fat knuckle disappears, it's gone. I'm gonna have to start wearing this on a chain or get it sized. And because of my fat knuckle, it's hard to get it sized any smaller than this, right? I mean, it just slips off and on right now, and it used to have to pop over that knuckle. Knuckle's nothing anymore. I don't usually wear necklaces, chains and stuff because I'm hairy, and the knots of the necklaces catch my beard, right? And I hate that, constantly being yanked. So I might get a piece of natural leather and soften it, a nice soft piece of natural leather, and use that to put my ring on, and then just wear that around my neck. Anything else is going to make me feel weird, right? Metal jewelry. I haven't done metal jewelry in decades. Probably not since the Renaissance Fair. 6 a.m. Hi everyone, it's 6. Anyone there? Thanks for joining me. If not, go back to bed. I wish I could. I mean, not that I can't go to sleep because I'm here. I just can't go back to sleep in general. So I do this. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be sitting here twiddling my thumbs, right? Maybe listening to a little music or reading something or writing something or maybe playing a little. But, you know, this feels a little more productive than any of that. My captain's log here. Yeah, still 6 a.m. Oh, 6:01. Ah, son of a glitch. I need more ink, more printer ink. I keep printing out lists of episodes of Old Time Radio. I have to print out, I can't print out Nova. All I can print out of Nova is the 70s and 80s, because that's all I can use, really, if I can use any of that. And that's all I want, really. Anything after that is kind of like, 90s, fuck the future. But all of my In Search Of, I'll catalog that. I only have the first season, I believe, of In Search Of. But, you know, so I can catalog other things that I cannot share with you, but I have them on computer. Things that I'll try to burn onto DVD so that I can enjoy them elsewhere. Although, you know, because I can't, if I can't use it on YouTube, then I can't upload it, which means I can't just access it wherever. Got to have a computer. So I want to put it on DVD so I can just enjoy it. Any old way, right? I need to look to see if I can find Ricky Tikki Tavi on YouTube anywhere. And if so, and if it's being used by just regular people, then I might try it. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to upload it. I'm just going to stick with older educational films that nobody cares about. And I'm going to start pulling away from the mainstream stuff. That's incredible. In Search Of, Nova. That's pretty much the mainstream that I'm using right now. And it's so much easier just to find, random educational films on anything. I mean, right now I've got like a half dozen or so educational films, 8 minutes to half an hour, just on Mexican life, right? Mexican village, the pueblo, the pottery makers, a lot of pottery makers, a lot of caldereros, the guys that make the calderas, the big pots and the metal pots and the clay pots and stuff. So that's neat. So I'm really into being born and raised in Southern California. I've seen Mexican textile work, that kind of stuff, pots and fabrics and stuff forever. I own a lot. So I've gone to Mexico and purchased that stuff. The last thing I purchased from Mexico was from Alvera Street, my Mexican blanket. So yeah, totally cool. So I want to, my wife is Mexican, so I want to share a bunch of this stuff, have a bunch of other stuff on the channel, And I'm just biding my time. Well, I'm procrastinating. I'm being procrastinistic. Is that a word? Procrastinistic? It is a word now because I just said it. Procrastinistic. I am being procrastinistic. Because there's a lot of stuff that I need to work on, family stuff. My father's radio shows, I need to get all of those from reel to reel onto YouTube and get them recorded, as well as a bunch of other reels that I have that I can use. And then I've got our family videos. And then I've got a lot of photographs to turn into slideshows. It's just a matter of being in the right frame of mind to want to do those things. If I'm doing it just because it's on a list, I'm not going to feel it. It's got to be on that list, but it has to be, okay, I'm doing this on the list next because I want to do that. My lists just kind of lay flat because I don't want to do anything. Well, let's just face it, I'm depressed. Ain't no beating around the bush. I'm just not, I'm not into it. It's been almost 8 months since I started this thing here. And it's been 8 great months, almost 8 months of non-depression, right? Which is a first, to go that long without feeling hardcore, I'm just taking myself out of the world, fuck it, right? So it works, it helps, but now I've got some shit I got to deal with. And I don't want to deal with it. I hate dealing with family shit alone, right? When you're the only one dealing with family shit, it becomes a fucking drag, So I don't want to deal with it. It's like, you know what, fuck it. It's not worth it to me in the present to destroy me right now. I've already been destroyed by family stuff. I don't need it to keep beating on me. So I just leave it alone. Every once in a while I'll blow up and I'll freak out and then I'll be depressed for a few days, and then I just slowly kind of get over it and get back into the swing of things, and then I'll find something that really, really keeps me occupied, and then I just throw myself into it, right? Making videos, sitting here taking borrowed content and turning them into videos, really keeps me busy. It's non-therapeutic, other than it keeps me really busy, helps me with my OCD and my manic moods, keeps me on an even keel. If that keel is depressed, then it pretty much doesn't allow me to go any further down, right? It don't exactly pick me up, but I ain't sinking much. too many questions, you know. It's just I have too many questions going through my head and not enough answers. And it just becomes frustrating. Oh, and I just decide to stop thinking. And the easiest way to stop thinking is just to go to sleep. Look, right now, between the pain and the depression, I could just pass out right now. I'm so exhausted. It takes so much out of me physically. It just takes all of my energy to deal with fighting pain and fighting off depression, right? And it's so, if I were to get one phone call right now from someone, it would totally turn my whole world around, right? One phone call from one individual would totally lift me out of this hole that I'm in. Am I going to get that phone call? No. If I were to ask for that phone call, it would take me lower because I would not get a response. So I just have to try to stay above water. That's it. But all it would take would be one phone call. You know, hey dude, what's up? That's it. I've already sent the messages. I've already, you know. So I just keep doing what I'm doing. I just keep doing my thing. Trying not to fall further. Yeah, I got my Eddie shirt on. This is my junior high days here. Eddie. Yeah, I would probably just crawl right back into bed at 8 o'clock, but my wife will probably be getting up around then, and then scratch, scratch, honk, honk, and then I'm not going to go back to bed then. I'll sit with her, I'll eat a bagel, she'll start drinking coffee, eat something, probably a concha, and then we'll sit together and watch a TV show and start thinking about what we're going to do today. You know, since work is kind of slow, our days are our own. Which, you know, that's the best part of not working a lot and working with one's spouse, is that we get to spend a lot of time together, right? And we met working together back in '98. So we've always worked well together. You know, either she's in charge and I'm the employee, or I'm in charge and she's the lackey. You know, whatever. But that's, you know, that's the way it is, and we just work so well together. You know. Of course, I've got pain to deal with the last 12 years, and which kind of changes that dynamic. You know, everything will be going along fine, and then all of a sudden pain will be like a knife, and I'll just go and freak out. Right. Be right back. A dog's indecision, I'm telling you. Ow. Ow. Yeah, I gotta look for an air mattress this week. The queen size is never gonna fit in that car. I just need a little twin, single, something really small, fat, but skinny. Something I can just stick in the back of that car, put the seats forward and down, and just me and a bunch of pillows. And that's just, I'm still looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to just getting a really good 2-hour nap at the Forum on Sunday night while the kids are in there partying. Just like a dad, you know. And I'm planning for it, you know. It'll be like, all right, here's my snacks. Here's the movie I'm gonna watch. You know, I may just put something from YouTube on, watch one of my movies. You know, watch one of these things that I've uploaded. I still haven't seen Good Against Evil, right? Yeah, totally. Psst. There I go. So I last night I found and put together a video called The Little Tree That Had a Dream. Is that what it was called? Something like that. The Little Tree with a Big Dream. Anyway, it's about Joshua Tree. It's about Joshua Tree, the little funny little tree. And I thought that was cool. You know, and I'm really finding a lot of old educational films that have something to do with me throughout various parts of my life. Even now, when I'm living out in Joshua Tree, this movie, The Little Tree, 1969, right? About Joshua Tree in 1969. And there's actually, we actually care for a house that was out here before it was built in late 40s or early 50s. One of the houses that we caretake. So, you know, that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I actually have some home movies, 8mm home movies that I picked up, a big box of them out here, and they're actually 8mm movies about out here, people's vacations and stuff, because people would buy a little piece of property and build a little shack, and then they'd come out here to vacation, to hunt, ride motorcycles, do that kind of shit. So I've got a box of those, and I'd really like to I can't scan them because I don't have the equipment, but I can kinescope them, you know, put a camera on the projector screen and just record them like that. So that's another thing that I want to try to do, is kinescope a bunch of my 16mm stuff. There's one 16mm film that I have that's only a few minutes long, but it is of my father's Wounded Knee stuff, and I've never taken it off of the reel. I've never looked at it. I don't know what's on it. It could be all black for all I know. He may have totally screwed the film up at some point before he developed it and developed a black blob. You know, I don't know. I've never opened it up and looked at it, so it could be nothing. There's something you'll probably see on my channel coming soon, are going to be educational films and home movies and stuff about Wounded Knee, because that was a big part of my early life, that whole Wounded Knee thing and my father's experience in and around it. So there. Coffee. Cold coffee. Time to go warm that up. Dang it. Yeah, my original idea for doing my shows was for me to have a pipe. Have an old pipe. I'd be puffing on a pipe. Because an old tobacco pipe, you can get away with people not knowing what you're smoking, right? And I thought, all right, well, that'd be a cool way to do it, you know. Hey, Grandpa and his pipe. Oh, that kind of thing. But I tried doing the pipe thing, and it's okay if you're just doing tobacco and you're not inhaling it. But if you're doing pot and you're inhaling it, you have to clean that pipe out like religiously, or you're just inhaling bleh, just black carbon, right? Yeah, that was why I started using the water pipe, the bong, was to filter out some of that black carbon stuff. I mean, shit, 1 foot in the grave, I really don't need to help. I don't need to help this progress any further, right? So there's that. Yeah. I'm planning for a heart attack. There's health insurance for you. A quick exit. Yeah, some really good weird stuff. The flow of Zen. You know, off on. Conformity. Morning Star, Arizona, follows a sheep herder. And that's pretty cool. They get a little religious at the end there, but I don't mind religion, you know. In moderation, spirituality and religion is a good thing. It is. It's when you allow yourself to be controlled by those who you think are the religion, and religion are not people. Religion is not a building or people or a book or, you know, that's not spirituality. That is doctrine. That is dogma. That is propaganda. That is control. All right? So in moderation, religion and spirituality is a great thing. It's perfect. It's what the humans need. More of that inside. Not out here with all of this stuff. It needs to be in here more. And we worry so much about the peripheral outside aspects of it all that we lose it on the inside. You know, and there are very few people out there that I see who have it on the inside. They want everybody else to think that this is the way they are on the inside, but they're not, because those very same people will cut you off in traffic at the store, be really, really rude, flip you off, pull a full-blown Karen act on you, you know, and they go from one extreme to the other, and they just prove my point, you know, when they do that. So, yeah, in moderation, yes, totally. Because there are many, many, many aspects to humanality. Is that another word? Did I just make another word? I'll have to go back just to find out the words, because I forget them. I should have written that other one down there, right? So yeah. I'm telling you. A little bit of pain is a good thing. Too much will kill you. It'll friggin' kill you. I'm telling you. So what do we got? What time is it? 6:23? Righteous. So I'm going to dump some memory on my graphics computer, reboot it. And then start creating some more content on this computer. And then over here, I'll have to download some more content. Totally. Totally. I'm not going to get that phone call. I don't think I'll ever get another phone call again. That's depression for you. Everything's peachy keen, perfect 1 minute, and then the next minute, it ain't. And it feels like it ain't ever going to be again. And then when you start to feel like you're just not worth somebody's time, you convince yourself that you're just not worth anybody's time. You're just not worth it. That's depression. And probably a deep-rooted psychological issue having to deal with family. But what are you going to do, right? Ain't much you can do except just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, bum ba da dum bum, just keep swimming. So yeah, I'm never gonna get that phone call. So I just gotta move on. Keep planning, plotting, scheming. Keep trying to keep on keeping on. And that's cool. I can totally dig it. You know what I need to do is I need to take all of this console here and blow it out and dust it off. It's getting a little thick with dust and ash and stuff. Yeah. Crazy stuff. It's crazy, man. It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy man. Crazy man. He's a crazy man. Crazy man. He's a crazy man. Crazy man. Hey, crazy man. Jelly. Oh, this morning, so I was listening to an X-1 during the pre-show. Because I can have a pre-show. I do the pre-show to make sure that my live feed is working, and then I just go, it's part of my show. The pre-show is just part of my show. So in the mornings, I try to listen to an X-1 that's previously uploaded. And this morning, I listened to Tunnel Under the World by, I want to say Frederick Pohl. But Tunnel Under the World, just a great story about a guy who wakes up every morning. It's a Groundhog Day. He wakes up every morning to the same day, and Tunnel Under the World. Yeah, Frederick Pohl, P-O-H-L, adapted by George Lefferts. And it's great. It's about the guy who, and he learns that the world is not the world that he thinks it is. He's actually a prisoner in someone else's creation of a world. And it's very similar to the movie The Dark City with Kiefer Sutherland and Jennifer Connelly, about people trapped in a city floating in space, right? And one of the guys has got these mental powers given to him by one of the alien creatures that brought them there. And now he's able to turn this floating island in space into an actual world that they can live in, right? At the end, of course. But through the whole movie, it's the battle and the struggle trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. It's one of those murder mystery, suspense, thriller type things, but it's also a sci-fi. So it's really cool. So I found that the Tunnel Under the World on X-1 was very similar to portions of that story. Totally. Very cool. There I go again. 'Cause 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 Clang, clang. Route 66 theme and other great television themes. Arranged and conducted by Nelson Riddle. Right? Route 66, The Alvin Show, The Andy Griffith Show, Ben Casey, My Three Sons, The Untouchables, The Naked City, Sing Along, The Defenders, Sam Benedict, Dr. Kildare. This could be the start of something. So yeah, he's got some cool TV show themes there. And that's some neat stuff. Let's see, what else do we have here? I've got movie themes. Oh, here we go. TV. Top television themes. The DA's Man, Perry Mason, 77, Sunset Strip, Pete Kelly's Blues, Mickey Mouse Club, Maverick, Peter Gunn, Have Gun Will Travel, Richard Diamond, Playhouse 90, The Real McCoys, and M Squad. Wow. Okay, here we got some some Q&A here. Try to find something here that people will know. Yeah, these are all pretty weird. Okay, the producers of Dragnet recently introduced a second successful detective show called The DA's Man. I didn't know that. So it's either The DA's Man, The Mickey Mouse Club, I've Got a Secret, or Have Gun Will Travel. I'm pretty sure it's The DA's Man. And answer number 13 is The DA's Man, of course. There you go. Woo. Top television themes for Totally Television Tuesday. There you go. There you have it. Now we're topical. Now we're totally topical. Is that like an ointment? Shut up! Not that kind of topical. So like a pink? Shut up! R. Alright, let's just keep doing what we're doing here, because at some point, me and my pain will be in different rooms. Totally. I was just looking over into my stack of stuff here, and if you see my little green jade lion here, and then the stuff right here next to the green lion, that's a slide whistle. And behind the slide whistle are those balsa wood planes. I've got a balsa wood plane with the wind-up propeller, and then I've got a pack of 2 balsa wood gliders. In fact, I need to make it back over to that store in town and see what other little vintage type retro goodies they have. I love to pick up little toys, old style toys, and old style, like the slide whistle. I need to get a little harmonica, a little what do they call those, whistle, the little tiny harmonicas that you just stick in your mouth. I need a whistle. I need a kazoo. I need a cymbal banging monkey. If anybody's taking this stuff down, send it to me. I'll give you a post office box. Nah, just kidding. But yeah, so I'm looking for little cool little noisemaker things. Eventually, this if I'm around long enough, the show will evolve into more weirdness. I hope to get the keyboard in here with sounds programmed into it. That'd be cool. Pipe that directly into the mixer, and then be able to go dun dun dun, ba-dum bum, do weird stuff, Anyways, hoes, like I was saying, man, I'm fucking bummed out, man. I'm getting sick of being depressed. Just getting sick of being sicker. It's like a vicious cycle. It just goes around and around and around. Yeah, I want to try to keep busy today. I got in bed like before 10 last night. I'm like, yeah, I turned everything off and crawled into bed. And of course, I'm into bed before 10. I didn't get to sleep until almost midnight, right? I actually got enough sleep that I actually started to dream toward the end there. Wake up drowning and then find you're just in a puddle of drool or something, right? But no, it was weird. I'm not used to dreaming anymore because I don't get enough sleep. Insomnia before was 5-6 hours sleep regularly. Now I get 3-4 hours sleep at a whack, a couple times a day. If I'm lucky, I get a nap and try to catch up and balance a little bit, But when I start that cycle of taking naps during the day, then either I'm living 2 days, right? Go to sleep a couple of hours, wake up, do a bunch of stuff, 8 hours, go back to sleep for a couple of hours, get up, do stuff for 8 hours, go back to sleep for a couple of hours. And it's like that. And then it starts creeping more and more and more. I'm sleeping during the day, and then pretty soon I'm getting my 5 or 6 hours during the day, and then I can't sleep at night. And then I'm laying down for an hour at 3 in the morning before I get up to come in here and do this, right? Debbie Dutzen Truck Driving School, right? I wanted to go be a truck driver because of Debbie Dutzen. Just like I wanted to learn how to read fast because of Evelyn Wood speed reading, right? I thought, ooh, I could do that. And there are actually some people who can look at an entire page and read the entire page, right? But that takes like practice from birth, right? To be able to do that and look at a page and know what's on that page, and then have that photographic memory where you can recall what's on that page, right? And then read that page back out of your mind. Oh, people like that could save the world, right? We have people like that because we need people like that in humanity that have the ability to do things that most of us can't. And those are the people that we need to say, okay, well, maybe we should put this guy through school and then try to get him to help us somehow through science or more further education or, some kind of political leader or something. I don't know. Instead, we poo-poo that stuff. And we scoff it because most people don't have those abilities. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Well, aren't you special? And then, and then they get bullied. So then they hide those things, those abilities they can do that make them different, that make them weird geeks, right? But it's neat that nowadays more and more it's okay, it's more and more acceptable for you to be really, really different, So hopefully we'll see more people popping up that are that have these newer abilities. I mean, it's like parkour, right? You do parkour in front of somebody from 100 years ago, and they're going to be like, this guy's fucking Superman. I seen the Linguini brothers do that shit in the circus, but this guy with this parkour shit, he's fucking amazing. He's like a Superman, right? How do you do that, right? Imagine, going into the past and showing these things that today are just common, right? I mean, little genius kids, right? Little genius musicians, where before it was like, Mozart. Ooh, Mozart, little kid, prodigy, right? Ooh. Now there's a million fucking Mozarts out there. There's a million. Why? Because we can see them now, and they have the ability to get these things and to have these instruments, and, before we didn't know about all these special people because they either weren't there, because they didn't have the means of becoming that, or we just didn't have the ability to notice them. And now they're everywhere. You turn on YouTube and you see a million young people with special abilities compared to the way we were 40 years ago. Yeah, these people are special. Nowadays, they're just common. Oh, yeah, boy, that guy can really, really sing. What do you mean he can really? He's like fucking amazing. He's phenomenal. To hell with Celine Dion. This guy's the shit. So, yeah, things are just so magnified and out of control. Out of control, out of control. See that leg? I can keep that leg to stop. Twang, twang. All right, Payne. Let's put you to rest for the day. Because I don't want to go to sleep. Got things I want to do. Things I want to do. Some of these things require money. But things are slow, so I'll be patient and wait. I've got some packages to send. I've got some things to purchase. I've got some things to do. But the money's slow, so those things have to wait. But the neat part of, about my existence is I've always got some kind of weird crap to throw myself into, right? Making videos is really, really fun. Even if I couldn't upload them to YouTube, like if I get kicked off of YouTube for like copyright strikes or something, which could very well happen, I would continue to make videos, and then I would just start burning them onto DVDs. And then from there, I would just probably go back to YouTube at some point, unless I'm permanently booted. I don't know how that works. I gotta warm this up again. Totally, man. Oh, yeah. That's me blowing my nose. The sound you hear is obnoxious. Stop doing that.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, you did it intentionally. Right? I'm starting to get the itchies now. It means my body's starting to wake up. Ugh. Oy. The itchies mean pain twinges are coming. And then I'm going to start getting a little... Ow, ice pick. Ow, a needle. Ow, ice pick. Ow, a fist. Yeah. Yeah, the frog in the pot of boiling water. One kind of a pain or another. My entire life. Physical, mental, emotional, social, whatever. Familial. It's just one pain to another, I'm just so used to pain, I see a doctor or a dentist and they're doing stuff to me and they're like, doesn't that hurt, right? And I'm like, yeah, well, You ain't showing it. It's like, yeah, that ain't shit. Like, are you kidding me? I just jabbed a giant needle into your gums, and you didn't even flinch. You didn't twinge. You didn't do a damn thing. And it's like, yeah, so that ain't nothing, boss. You know. I had a doctor jab a needle into my neck, all right, to inject me with that latex crap that they put in there to so he's like, okay, well, we're going to give you an IV. And I said, you're already going to put a needle into my neck. Why do I need a fucking IV too? And he said, because we got to sedate you. And I said, well, what are you going to sedate me with? And they said, we're going to use this crap. And I said, I don't want that shit in me. And he's like, well, you need to be sedated because I can't have you moving around while I'm putting a needle into your neck. It's just not safe. And I said, well, I ain't taking that shit, right? You ain't putting that shit into me, right? And they wanted to put that dye into me too, and I'm like, well, so we can watch on the. And it's like, fuck, you know, you know, you're gonna inject this stuff into me, and it's either gonna work or it ain't, right? I'm not doing all this other shit. You know, I said, if you know, do your job and I'll do mine. You want me to sit still? I'm gonna fucking sit still. And he was like, he's telling me, all right, don't move, don't fucking move, right? And I didn't fucking move a goddamn hair, right? And he's like, hey, wow, you know. And he got through and he's like, okay, that was really weird, dude. That you did that without anesthesia and you didn't fucking move at all. You didn't even fucking flinch. He said, that's weird. I've never had that happen before. I gotta go wake up the missus. I'll be right back. So I just woke my wife up for no reason. It's Tuesday and my alarm went off, and I thought it meant that it was Wednesday, and it's not. So I looked at the calendar on Wednesday thinking, oh, look, I'm waking her up. It's the right. She's like, she wakes up just enough to go, what? No, it's Tuesday. I'm like, oh, we'll go back to bed then. Go! Hey, sometimes I do it right, and sometimes I do it wrong. All right. I usually do it wrong. I mean, just look at, personally look at my life. Peripherally, my life's okay. Personally, I'm fucked. Personally, internally, psychologically, whatever. As a one-man show, I'm boned. With my wife, doing great. With my daughter, wife and daughter, everything's perfect. My house, my family, my life, everything's good. You put me in a room by myself just thinking about my own issues and I'm fucked. So I try not to go there. And when I do, man, look the hell out. Look the hell out. What are you going to do? I'm pretty much left with one option, right? Share now while you have the chance. Get it all out. Regurgitate your whole life as much as possible while you have the opportunity. That's it. Basically, that's why I'm here every morning. So that I have the opportunity to say, oh shit, that's right, I have to say this. And then I can say it. Some days are kind of just like, well, this is kind of a bland show. Right? Well, it's not really a show. I mean, it is a morning, but it's mornings with me. It's not necessarily a morning show with me. It's just mornings. To me, some dubich, some coffee, some conversation, some bullshit, a whole lot of venting. Did he say vente? No, not coffee. Well, a lot of coffee, but woo-hoo. I had planned to do a whole lot of sharing stuff on these shows, but the more I share, the more I run into the possibility of losing the whole show because of some copyrighted stuff that's on there. That's why I play the X-1. Nobody cares about X-1. You don't find the full set of X-1. You don't. It's just not out there. So I'm curating history a lot on this show. A lot of history that other people have just completely forgotten about. You know, a history that a lot of people haven't seen. A lot of people haven't seen these educational films. You know, sure, you can probably find them, a lot of it on YouTube someplace, but not a lot. And so that's why it's important for me to bring it, you know, and because it's a part of my life. You know, it means something. Even a little silent coffee movie that's about 10 minutes long. That one means something. Coffee, 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 right? And it's like from the 1920s or something. And that's pretty cool. But that's why I have the Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia show, so that I can share this stuff on a show. And that show's gonna evolve. Or what I might do is create a sister show, a spin-off of Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia that uses visuals, right? Let's look at this movie, let's look at this video, let's look at a portion of this show, let's look at these commercials, that kind of a thing. That kind of a nostalgia show. But right now I'm really enjoying finding out about all of this music that I use on the nighttime show. It's so much fun. I have favorite artists, favorite songs, favorite years. I mean, it's very cool. There's something going on. I gotta check the dogs here. Yeah. Okay. So today I'm making beef stew, homemade beef stew from scratch. I've got a big London broil that I'm going to cut up and cube. I'll cut it into big strips that I can then lay those strips down and cut those strips in half and then cube those little pieces, those strips. So we've got just little bite-sized pieces, easy to saute and cook for an hour, hour and a half and get really tender, then add to the stew. Mainly so that you've got little pieces, so you've got, you know, every bite is just perfect. Every bite's got everything in it, carrots and celery and potatoes and corn. So, yeah, so I'll be working on that when I get home from Home Depot and taking the dogs to get their nails trimmed today. And then this evening I'll be waking up from a nap, doing my nighttime show, and then going out and working on the swamp cooler again and trying to get that done. Once it's done, it'll be in use all the time, and we won't have to use these air conditioners all the time. That'll be cool. Sometimes at night, I have to have the air conditioner on because I cannot sleep in the quiet, and I sweat all night long. I don't know what the hell it is. My energy level is always maxed out, you know, and I'm always zooming, and it's like I'm generating energy at night while I'm sleeping. It's like that episode of Futurama where Bender has to keep moving and dancing or he's going to explode up because he's got this doomsday device wired into him, right? And every time he stops, he just starts glowing and heating up, right? That's what happens at night with me. My doomsday device overheats. So I got to keep moving. I got to keep doing stuff. It sounds right, though. Yeah. So I've got a movie here that I'm going to post that's called, it's from 1955. It's called 3rd Avenue L, the elevated train. Right? So that'll be neat. One called Let's Make a Film from 1971. I've done this a few times. A film on filmmaking, a film about film editing, and this is Let's Make a Film. And then stuff like Radio Broadcasting Today from 1948. Color in Art from 1965. So I'm in Vacuum Tube Radio. Prehistoric Man in Europe. These are all along themes throughout my entire life. Radio has been a part of my life since my father was doing his show back in 73 to 75, right? And then was on the radio throughout the 70s. Anthropology, archaeology was always big in my world. Art, photographs, photography, textiles, artwork, drawings, murals, paintings, that kind of stuff. Graphic design, that's always been big in my life. And, you know, Mexico, Mexican people, Mexican art and textiles, that's stuff that's always been big in my life, especially in the last 25 years. You know, everything that I share, all of this borrowed content that I share, all speaks to who I am, right? You can find some piece of me in all of that, and some of all of that stuff, little bits of that stuff in me, and that's why it's on my channel. That's it. End of explanation. That's period. It's all part of me. I'm part of it. And when you think about it, everything on one of those esoteric level things, you know, we are all each other and everything. We are all God and life and death and the devil and good and bad and light and dark. We are all these things. It's just to what degree we allow ourselves to be, right? Whoa, now we're getting totally philosophical, man. He's getting philosophical. I mean, he's totally, he's feeling what? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to see if I've been losing stuff. Nah, nobody around. Shh. If you keep it really quiet, nobody will show up. Nobody will know you're around. It's the story of my life. Are you kidding me? I can yell and scream and nobody's going to know I'm around. Totally. You know, I was just flashing on hiding and not being around, which led to the thought of ditching school for the last 6 weeks of 7th grade, right? Just stopping, just walking past the bus every day. And you know what? It was an escape from school, but at the same time, it was an escape from my family, right? Because nobody in my family knew what I was doing at the time. It was years before anybody knew what I did. My father knew, right? because he had to enroll me in school the next year, and they told him, "Where was your son?" He's like, "He had bronchitis," and just lied for me, right? But then told me, I never want to know what you were doing or where you were and why, and it's like, well, you bastard, maybe I want to talk about it. You ever think about that? Nope. So it was more of a way for me to find me, right, and realize that I was stronger than I thought I was, and I didn't necessarily need family. That was the beginning of that. So within a few years later, by 15, I was just out of the house. I just said, fuck it, I'm gone. You know, because there was just nothing there. You know, there was just nothing there between me and anyone in the family. There was just nothing there anymore. You know, we were just people that happened to live together. That's what it felt like. You know, and ever since then, it's kind of felt like that. You know, we're just people that happen to be raised in the same proximity, but that, you know, there was nothing really ever there. Everybody said these things, you know, and did these things, but there was no real in any of it. It was fabricated, it was contrived, it was made up. You know, that's the way it felt, and it still feels like that today. You know, as much as I want it to not be that, as much as I go out of my way to try to find out what or why or who or when or what, you know, how, you know, I know it's never going to get any different than that. And that's a hard thing to get used to. Others don't even want to go and deal with it. Blah, 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 blah. That's what I get from everybody else. You start talking about things that, you know, even my health. I would try to talk about my health to a family member. And I'd just get the, you're young, there ain't nothing wrong with you. You know, and I just got to release a steam. And it wasn't taken seriously. And it's like, okay, well, you do that a couple of times, and it's like, well, I'm not going to talk about my health anymore because I'm not being taken seriously. And you just don't care. So, you know, if you're not just going to listen and try to understand, you know, or at least accept that something's going on, well then, you know, just try to shine it on and tell me that I should just shine it on. You know, I mean, really. A couple of years ago, I really wanted to get family together to do something, to make some, you know, new memories, to get to know each other really good. And now I just don't feel it. I knew I was going to get to some point eventually where physically I wasn't going to be able to just even look at myself, let alone anyone else. So I wanted to kind of do it a couple of years ago when I felt, things ain't looking too good for the future. So, okay, well, let's do stuff now. And now I've got stuff planned for the future, right? And it's like, oh man, I hope I make it there. Ain't looking good. What are you going to do? Bang, bang. Oh, another one. So there you go. Yeah, I'd really settle for a few pieces of the puzzle and for some honesty and for some actual camaraderie, you know, and not just contrived camaraderie, you know, not just bullet points, you know, something deeper than that, something deeper than small talk, right? Because that's pretty much all I get is small talk, avoidance, right? And I want something more than that, you know, or it feels like there's just never been anything there, right? And you go out of your way to pursue that and get shot down and yeah. So there you go. And so I sit here in my daily log trying to work it out, hoping that somebody will call or shoot me a message, anybody at this point, you know, and say, hey, you know, you're right. You know, we do need to have some more back and forth, you know, because there's a lot of things that I want to know, and there's a lot of things I want others to know. And I've really been going out of my way the last few years since my father passed away, and I started to, you know, introspect and look into my own mortality, you know. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that, you know, need to be done and said and thought and figured out. And putting it off because I don't worry about it, you know. You got plenty of time. I ain't cutting it anymore. There ain't plenty of time. Period. For anyone, ever. There's never enough time. Deal with fucking shit now, you know. Plenty of time. And now both my parents are gone, and there's so many questions. And I got no fucking answers, and no way to get any answers, because whoever's left don't want to talk about it. You know, all I want is honesty. I don't care where it comes from, you know. And it's not like I'm holding grudges against people either way. I just want to know, you know. And I want to be known for being me, not for being, you know, son of old man, you know. That crazy image that everyone has of me is completely wrong. You know, on the outside it may resemble me, but it ain't me. You know, I just want to be known for who I am. Is that so much to ask for? Apparently. Apparently. So I'll just keep moving on. Keep moving on, trying to do what I'm best at, you know. Being weird, being me. You know, nobody else does me like me. So I really need to contact a couple of people about the reunion stuff, and get a couple of guys and a couple of girls who know people to start putting out, you know, here's something, share this with 10 people, you know, people who are into that chain post thing. All right, I'm going to create a post, give it to these 4 people and say, can you please share this with 10 people with the instructions to share it with 10 more people, right? And try to create an explosion, and then do the same thing with a video and with the event page, and try to get more people involved in the pre-production of this. You know, once I can get a handle on how many people are interested, then I can get an idea of how many shirts I want to deal with. And I don't want to make a bunch of shirts and then try to sell them. I would prefer to take orders. Look, I need to get to 25 orders so that I can get the shirt people to mix up that paint and screen print 25 shirts, right? Bada bing. And then have them screen print 30. So I've got a couple of extra for, you know, event stuff. Like that, you know, and then start doing shirts and start raising some money and get somebody in charge of the treasury and somebody in charge of invitations and secretary and somebody to mirror my job, knowing everything, you know. I know I keep talking and talking about this, but when you're in my position in my world with the crap that I have to deal with in my head and body, sometimes all you can do is think about stuff, and you try to carry it out, and you're like, it ain't happening today. Good night, Irene. And I've been saying hello to Irene and good night to Irene for quite a while now. But, you know, I've got 4 people in mind to help. And I just want them to contact 10 people with the instruction for those 10 people to do the same. And that's it. And if we can do that, look, 10 people who know 10 people from Elsinore. Or 10 people who would be interested in a party of that caliber, right? That's it. That's all it's going to take. You know, 10 times 10 times 10, it's boom. So I need to create a post, and I need to create a video, which means photos and videos, right? I can come up with something on the fly. But I really need to get to Elsinore, and I need to talk to these 4 people in person, either video chat or on the phone, and really kind of express the emotion that I have about this. I'm very passionate about this reunion, right? It's going to be my tour de force. It is going to be the end-all model for future gatherings of this sort. And that's it. And I've been procrastinating, and I've been trying to avoid thinking about depression, so I've really been working on just random content on my channel, right? Just trying to keep my channel going, right? It's nothing special, but I feel productive, and it all says something about who I am. So that's, you know, so there's a connection there. Oi. Yeah. So I'll probably do a bagel and cream cheese here at 8. Some orange juice. Watch a little TV. Hang out with the wife for a little bit. And then try to get productive. If nothing else, I need to wheel this console back off my carpet, clear my carpet of all of this stuff here, and vacuum and Febreze and dust and wipe everything down and freshen this place up again, right? I like to do that once a week, and lately I've been off. Of course, depression does that to me. It's like I was doing it religiously. Once a week, I'd clean this place down. I got that from Pam, Brett and Troy's mother. She was always like that. Every Sunday, she would open up the house. She'd get up. She'd have coffee. She'd sit on the couch. She'd smoke a joint. She'd water her plants. Clean house all day long. If we weren't helping, we had to get the fuck out. It was, you know, and I learned that from her. My parents weren't like that. My parents weren't, let's clean the place every week. They were like, let's move. That place is filthy, let's move. It's too much laundry, let's just leave that pile and go to the next place. Seriously. So I learned these, you know, once a week, clean the house thing from Pam, from the boys' mom. Thank you, Pam. I learned a lot of things from the different families that I stayed with, the families who raised me during my formative years, because like I said, I was out of the house at 15. I had already checked out at 13 in the 7th grade when I just decided to stop going. By the 8th grade, I was my own person. By the 9th grade, I was like, I'm fucking out of here. You know what? I don't need the hassles that you guys give me. You know, there's just not enough here worth sticking around for. You know, there's never any food, there's never any clean clothes, never a toothbrush or toothpaste. There's no way to get clean. You know, it was just a sucky life every day, You know, granted, the life that I have now isn't perfect, but I can eat. I can get myself cleaned up. I have clean laundry. You know, it's a real home with, you know, and my daughter has her own room. Things that I never had growing up, you know. So it ain't perfect, but it's way better than I had. Good enough that my daughter doesn't feel like she's got to get the hell out of here. I'm leaving as soon as I can. And a lot of kids are like that. You know, whether it's parents that fucking helicopter and then don't give them a reason to stay around or want them to fuck out, you know, or they just have to get away. They have to be their own people. And my daughter's able to do that all the time. So it's not like she needs to get up and leave to be her own person, right? She's never had a problem expressing who the hell she is, you know. It's like, that's who she is. You know, what am I going to do? Change her? Helicopter? Prevent her from growing into the person she's meant to be by forcing her into, you know, grooves that were set by me and other people? Fuck that. Fuck that. I love the fact that she's her own person, you know. And then there's nothing that says that she has any desires to leave the house, right? I don't want her to go to work until she feels like she really has something to offer, so that she'll get what she's worth, because she's worth, you know, way more than working some menial job someplace. So, you know, that's my job, is to work some menial job so that she doesn't have to, so that she can just go to school. Just go to school. Keep going to school. Keep going to school. Get your freaking PhD for all I care. I'll be old and gray cleaning toilets. That's fine. Get your PhD so that when you decide to give something back to the world, you're doing it full gusto, you know, full steam ahead, giving it all, you know, and getting what you're worth, you know. So there's that. And as a student, she's worth a lot, and she, you know, she gets compensated for how good she is and how much she's worth. So, yeah. Let's hope that keeps going, you know, that she can keep earning degrees, and not have to worry about earning money, you know. Because we've shown that you don't need a whole lot of money to survive and thrive. You know, what you need to do is you need to keep the bullshit down to a minimum. You need to keep that lifestyle that society says that you have to have, right? You see it on TV, you see it at work, you see it in other people, where they're so programmed to have that expensive lifestyle with the 30-year mortgage and the car payments up the ass and all of these things that go along with trying to keep this image, right, that society forces you into. And once you shake off all of that bullshit and just live a real life and not live for all of that peripheral bullshit, right? Go back to being a hunter-gatherer type person. Things get a lot easier. You have a lot fewer bills, a lot fewer worries, you know. You're able to buy things cash because you're saving. You know, you're not making a lot, but you're saving way more than you used to, because you're not putting out a whole lot. That's right. So it balances out really to a greater extent in your favor. And a lot of people cannot think that way, because since we abolished slavery in the United States, capitalism has enslaved us. Credit, creditors, banking, owing, debt, that has enslaved us. So now the man is our own greed. You know, oh, I gotta have it. So there goes another payment. There goes my credit card just getting maxed out. You know, my credit's suffering because I had to skip a payment on my mortgage again. You know, it's like, it's a fucking rat race that you never win. Because they've got it set up for them to win, not us, right? It's modern slavery. You know, you have to keep that job. You hate that job. You hate those people, but you have to keep it because you got the 30-year mortgage and the 2 car payments and the kid in the college and all of this other fucking shit payments up the ass. And there you go. And people blow their brains out, or they fucking go homeless, or they just go cuckoo in the cabeza, or they give themselves over to drugs, or what do they call that? Infidelity. I mean, it just goes crazy, you know. You run screaming, pulling your hair out. I was there. I did that. Look, I lost a lot of hair. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Keep it real. Keep it mellow. Get rid of all of that peripheral bullshit. That's why people are moving into tiny homes and doing the van life, you know, and being nomads, right? Because it's free. It is really, really free, you know. Yeah. I'm wondering if it's starting to get windy out there, because you start hearing stuff. My metal awnings on the mobile homes start moving from the wind, and then they start clicking on the side of the house. It's just the way it is. Yeah. I have so many plans, right? And my health just says, you ain't going to do that right now. In fact, you ain't going to do anything. Go to bed. So I just have to, you know, not beat myself up over things I can't control. And that's something that I've learned recently. You know what? I can't deal with that, so just move on. Move on to something you can deal with. Deal with a bunch of things you can deal with to make up for that big thing that you can't deal with, right? And then just try to move on. You know, you can't change it, so don't try. Don't frustrate yourself over it. Oh, no more coffee. That sucks. Clang, clang. Like my wife always says, it's going to be loud, and then she'll hit the blender. She's got to do that because she will startle the hell out of me. She'll make noises or do things that I'm not prepared for. Walk up behind me and touch me, and I don't even know she's there. I'm like, I'm going to put a freaking bell on you, lady. I'm going to get her a bracelet, a charm bracelet or something that's got one bell on it, so that I know when she's coming, right? Because sometimes we'll just be like cleaning house or working or doing something, and then all of a sudden I turn around and she's right there, like a cat or a dog or something, just boom, right there, right on my heels. And it's unintentional on her part, you know, but it makes me jump out of my fucking skin. Get a little bit jumpy. Totally. Totally. Yeah. So I gotta do a video and a post. I gotta contact 4 people. I gotta do a video, a post, and I need to update event and try to give some kind of an update. And and urge people who stop by, urge people who are already a part of this to share it with 10 people. All right, look. Share it with 10 people who you know are going to share it with 10 other people, and so on and so on. And over the course of a couple of months, let's see how big we can expand this to get an idea of who wants to come, right? I'm going to take some time soon with my daughter and work on some kind of t-shirt design, right? T-shirts, and try to get over to the t-shirt place. They're redesigning their shop right now to make things easier for them during the hot weather, because their paint dries out too quick. They got to mix up small batches of paint. It just dries out too quick. So I need to figure out from them what are the smallest size orders that I can order per batch, per shirt, yada yada, so that I can come up with a way of taking orders, getting shirts made, and shipping shirts out. That's a relatively quick, I don't want to go 25 shirts. I'd rather do, the fewer shirts possible to get made and shipped. Okay, well, let's maybe, a half dozen shirts, but it has to be one style shirt, or it has to be the same ink used on all of the different screens, right? We've got 6 designs. Maybe we'll start off with one design and then sell a bunch of those, and then come up with another design, and then come up with 2 more designs, and then come up with another couple, Whew, yeah, I'm right at the point now to where I'm feeling a bit woozy. I need food. This takes a lot out of me doing this morning thing. I have a cereal bar in the morning, and then a cup of coffee. And then by 8-ish, I gotta have something to eat. And then I have to eat small amounts as to not overwhelm my stomach. And then if I only eat a small amount and then wind up having to succumb to pain and go to sleep, take a nap, then I miss out on a meal in there somewhere. And then I have to start over again when I wake up, which means putting a little bit of food in me and trying to get more and more and more. And when I split my day in 2, I really miss, I wind up skipping a meal or 2. Or my meals wind up being really small because that's all I can handle at the time. Right? Man, that sucks. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. So I just try to deal with it best I can. Try to pop an Ensure in me once in a while. When I do get hungry, try to eat a lot. Try to gorge myself and get a lot of vitamins and protein in me. Eat too much meat and then parts of me suffer because of it. Too much coffee and caffeine, but otherwise I would just sleep all the time lately. I mean, it feels like I get up, I'm ready to go, and then pain and depression, and I'm just back in bed. Fuck it. A couple of hours, and I'm just like, fuck this. Fuck it. I hate that. Yeah, I also hate feeling blah, you know, blah. I get a lot of that lately. I don't want to go to the doctor. I know I sound like a kid, but I just feel like they're just butchers and idiots, prescribers. Nobody wants to actually investigate what's going on. They just want to start giving you pills to see which pill is going to work, right? At least make you feel like you're better. Or they say, okay, well, we're gonna do some, you know, some poking and prodding, but anything deeper than that is really going to be painful. Do you want to go that route? So they talk you out of doing the more extensive research to find out what the hell's wrong with you. It's going to hurt. You don't want to do that. That's going to hurt too much. Here, take these pills. It'll be fine. At least that's what's happened to me, you know, over the last 10 years. Since I got injured. And then other parts of my health started being affected by it. Beyond depression and stomach issues. Yeah. And after having gone in for diagnostic stuff, you know, half a dozen times over as many years, and having them tell you the same bullshit, it's just like, you know what, fuck it, all right? If you're not going to find out what's wrong with me, you're just going to talk me out of trying to find out. And then, you know what, I don't care then. Like, let me fucking die. I don't care. I don't give a shit. You know? Don't, you know? You're just going to wind up causing me greater pain throughout the last part of my life, right? It's going to be painful enough. Do I want to spend more time in pain and probably going out at the same time anyway? Fuck no. I'm looking at quality, not quantity at this point. It ain't great quality right now. But, you know, what kind of quality is it going to be vivisected and radiated, right? And then try to survive that. And if you survive that, you might get a little extra time. But it's going to be horrible, you know. There you go. You got choices, you know. You get to the end and hope you didn't make the wrong choice. And there I go again, thinking about stuff that I don't want to think about. You know, shit you can't control. There you go. There you go. There you go. There it is. So, once again, pulling a Jerry Garcia and just trying to have fun in the now. You know, just trying to enjoy life while I can. It's fun. Fun on a bun. I wish I could drive my van more. I wish I could get my van up and running so I could just go out and live, right? I wish I had a better house to leave my wife and daughter, so that more of the stuff that I've collected for my daughter can be saved, right? Because a lot of this stuff's just going to kind of get given away and sold off when I'm gone. That's going to be a bummer. I would rather my daughter keep a lot of this stuff to have a better connection to me, right, when I'm gone. So I'm trying to catalog as much as I can digitally with YouTube and with my videos and stuff. And then she'll get to keep a lot of my media here, all of the records and whatnot. All of my t-shirts. These things are going to mean more these things and the memories that we create are going to mean more than any kind of money that I could leave her or any kind of things, you know. I'm trying to leave her peace of mind and pieces of me. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing crazy, nothing extravagant, you know. Enough good stuff to remember a lot of good memories. Oh, that big dog over there is just curled up on that bed, just hard asleep. Man. Smiles when she sleeps. All of my dogs smile when they sleep. All of my dogs sleep all day long because they're just so fucking happy. They're just so, you know, they don't have a care in the world. They get up and run out of the house screaming and barking when they hear a noise, and that's their excitement. That's it. They you know, play fight and wrestle and get the zoomies and groom each other, you know, and it just shows me how happy they are, you know. Same thing with my daughter. When she's sleeping all day and playing video games and relaxing over the summer and in her air conditioner because she can, because she's earned it, that makes me happy. And her saying, I'm not doing anything, I earned my time, you know, this is my summer, you know, and I'm like, yeah, that's my girl, stand up for your rights, you know. And then when she says, well, I get it from him, oh, it makes me feel so good, you know. I never know what to eat. Yep, I get it from Papa. He never knows what to eat either. He's always coming and going, I don't know what to eat, you know. Yeah, we have shared similarities because, not environmental, like with my parents, my father, but similarities because they're handed down genetically, and I believe in gene memory, right? And I think that is a lot to do with having your children later in life, where you've built up a lot of genetic memory that when you finally have kids, you're going to pass on a lot of what you've experienced, not necessarily the memory of these things, but the memory of the experience physically. I think that's what genetic memory is. You know, like my friend Andy, he's my age, a year younger than me, and he just recently had kids back in 2015 is when he started having kids. His kids are going to have, they already show such huge amounts of genetic memory, right? It's just hilarious how expressive they are. And I just see videos and pictures and stuff, right? And I haven't got to know them yet, and I already see it, you know. Why? Because I can recognize it in my daughter throughout her growing up. It's not just environmental, you know. She has the same intuition that I have, the same musical ability that's just kind of born into her, you know, that I was just kind of born with. The artistic ability, the imagination, the creativity, you know, it's all there. And it's not because I gave it to her physically, it's because genetically it was in her. I know, it sounds weird, but that's what I believe. It's what I believe. Got a little bit of water here. Getting a little parched. I've recently had people come in and out of my life from the past. One person in particular who just, you know, things got totally fucked up, you know, and I really, really, really get frustrated, especially when I'm depressed. I get frustrated about having lost that person in my life because of the stupid bullshit, right? And it weakens me. It weakens my soul to know that no matter what you do, how you try, to some people it just doesn't mean the same, right? As much as you want it to mean something for them, They just don't get it, and they don't even feel it, right? They're in their own little fucking, you know, tweaker existence, and they just don't even get it. You know, they don't have the capacity to get it ever again. No matter what they do or say or think or try to convince you of, it's just never going to be there again, right? And it hurts to know that you've completely lost that person. Even if you see that person again and, you know, hi, how you doing? It's never going to be the same again, you know? And the best you can do is just go, And, you know, there's probably a lot of people out there that feel that way about me for some reason or another. You know, oh, that guy. I don't even want to, Nope. I won't give him the time of day anymore. Okay, I get it. But, you know, it wasn't because I was a fucking tweaker. It was because I was fucked in the head. Was mentally insufficient from birth. And it's taken me this long to figure that out and to come to terms with it and be able to use it and to deal with it. Right? That don't happen with tweakers. Once a tweaker, always a tweaker, done. You know, if you haven't gotten over it early enough, soon enough, you're never over it. It's always with you. Tweaker at the drop of a hat. Well, I've been fine for 6 months, and then you're a tweaker again. I've been 6 years and tweaker again. 10 years and then tweaker again. And it don't matter, because you'll always be a tweaker, and it'll take the drop of a hat and you're back to being a tweaker again. I swear I'm not a tweaker. And you know, sure, everybody believes you for a while, and they start to see that you're actually a tweaker in disguise, trying to convince everybody you're not a tweaker. You know, I'm sorry, I get into these hostile states where my own actions have totally fucked me over. Right? Don't get deep involved with people from your past. Keep it peripheral. You know, get to know them on a now basis. Don't try to get to know them on a then basis. Get to know them on a now basis. Because if you try to get to know them on a then basis, you're not going to be happy with who they are. Even if they're the best people in the world, it ain't the same guy. Don't do that. Get to know this person. And that's the thing that people won't do with me. They won't get to know me. They won't try to get to know me because they keep wanting to see me as this person back here. You know, especially family. So there you go. I never got any respect from my grandmother, my father's mother, because she only saw me as some wedge between my mother and father, some wedge between her and my father. You know, I was just a wedge. You know, I was that thing that they weren't quite sure of. So there was always that. I never got any respect from my grandmother. I asked for it once. I really needed help once, and I went after her and helped. And even though I knew that if it was my brother or sister asking, she would have given it to them. But she said that she couldn't help me, you know, and we both cried over it. But I knew that if I had been someone else, she would have helped me. No problem. Right? Because I had just recently seen it, you know. She had just helped someone in the family, you know, and it wasn't much, and I wasn't asking for much, but it was too much for me to ask at all, because I was that guy, you know, Michael Vaughn, whatever that means, and whoever, and why ever, and whatever, and so I never got any respect there, or from her side of the family, from his side of the family. I never got respect from any side of my family, really. I tried to get to know my grandfather, my mother's father, and that was weird, because I got that weird sense of something going on there. We were so much alike, it was scary. So that's where I've started to get the first inclination that my grandfather was actually my father. My mother's father was actually my father, you know, which would mean, of course, that I'm my own uncle. So, yeah, welcome to my world. not fucking knowing a goddamn thing. Except for things that you're not sure if you know or not. Many reasons, I guess, why I smoke as much as I do. And inhaling this shit, this butane, that ain't good either. That's got to be another strike. Bang, bang. Yeah, hopefully these morning sessions, right? Let's call them sessions. Hopefully these will mean something to somebody down the road. For me, it just means exploration, venting, getting to know me. At some point down the road, somebody else is going to come along and go, oh, wow. That's who he is. Right? I never knew. I never knew that was who he was. You know, and it's going to be when I'm gone. Because nobody's ever really taken the time to get to know me now, in the present, whenever that present was. Nobody ever took the time. Not even my father. I've lived together with my father off and on during my younger years when nobody else was around and it was just me and him. And he never took the time to get to know me. Right? He took the time to fill me full of the same propaganda bullshit that he didn't want to have his head filled with. Right? And, you know, and I got to hear a bunch of the rigmarole. But I never really got any reality out of him, you know. No, there was bonding, but it was on a, you know, warm and fuzzy level. There was nothing real deep. And I really, I mean, I would really try to share with him what was going on with me, and I just got shined, you know. Or I would say, check this song out. I just wrote this song. You got to check this out. And I'd play the song, hoping to get a wow, man, that's pretty cool, right on. And instead, the first thing out of his mouth would be, you know, if you'd done this, or maybe you put a pause here, and he would totally dissect it and rip it apart, you know. And then he would say, yeah, but it was okay. It was good, you know. And it was like, I stopped sharing with him because I felt like everything I did, rather than be an accomplishment to be patted on the back for, it was something that had to be, you know, ridiculed and dissected and torn apart. And, you know, I never got any attaboy out of him. I always got, you could have done it differently. Or you should have done it like this. Or maybe this would have been better. You know, and that always hurt. You know. Because this was the guy that I was supposed to share stuff with and learn from. And it started to just go sour. It started to sour. You know. And then I realized that he just was over it. He was over being my father, right? Because he had never been that way in the first place. He had never been that. So it was easy for him to just say, yeah, fuck it. You know, it was easy for him to just finally write us off because, well, he didn't really need me anymore because, you know, he never really needed me in the first place, which made it easy for him to kind of shine on the other two, right? And made it necessary for him to do that so it didn't look like he was just picking on me, right? Which is exactly what it was, you know. I was the one because I had always been the one that was different, you know. And it was unfortunate that they're gone so soon without me understanding why I was different, you know, and why these things are going on. Yeah. Wow, a little more sharing than I had intended on this morning. But nobody's here anyway, and chances are nobody's going to watch all of the show, so nobody's ever going to see this portion of the show. Nobody sits and pushes play and watches the whole show. Nobody. So I have no fear about somebody commenting later, "My God, man, are you serious?" There goes the trash man. Twice a week. Twice a week. There you are. But, you know, what makes all of this bullshit from my past, all of the unknown, what makes it all okay is my wife and daughter, the now, the present, my last 25 years. That makes all the difference in the world. It makes all the other bullshit go away. It makes all of the other bullshit peripheral and unimportant when it comes down to it, right? As much as they've never needed me, I figure out throughout the last 40 years that I don't really need them either, as much as they don't need me, right? So it's okay. It's really, really sad, and it hurts. It's like knives coming at me, but you get used to that pain, and you get used to that unacceptance. You know, all you want to do is just be accepted. You don't have to be understood. You know, you want people to get to know you, but and you want honesty, you know, and you just wind up not getting any of these things, and it makes it pointless to try to go after it with people who have never really been there anyway. They've always been in it for themselves, or they've always not cared, you know. And the act was in pretending to care, because that was the job given to them, you know, when they were young. Look, you got to pretend. But no, you got to pretend that it isn't. Okay. And then it just became normal. And I think that I'm never going to get any truth. Just like my parents took it with them, the truth, I'll take it with me, the not knowing, right? The not knowing. Even though I'm pretty sure I got it figured out, because all of the clues, right? I'm pretty sure I got it figured out, but I'm pretty sure I'll never know for sure 100%. Because those with the knowledge just ain't got the cojones to just tell me, right? Straight out. Like, yeah, you're right. This is what happened. You know, should have told you sooner. No, you shouldn't have. You should have done whatever you did when you did it in the timely fashion that you did it, because that's the way things work out, right? I'm not going to say, oh, you damn you do, you know, because, of course, I already know that. I already know. So you coming back and going sheepishly, yeah, I should have. No, you shouldn't have. Now is the time. The time is when the time is, right? Flat out. I don't go into all of that, you know, you should have, or, you know, why didn't you, and all that. What's the fucking point? There's no point in that. There's no point in finding out these things and then freaking out about answers that you really can't control any of anything, right? So you just go with it. And that's the thing that I've learned now that makes it easier to deal with all of these things that I know in my heart. Nobody's proven it to me, right? So, because I have the experience and the years and the knowledge now to know, ain't nothing I can do about it. Why am I going to beat myself up over things, you know? Sure, I get a little sad and depressed over it, and I try not to lose myself in that. But it's normal for a person in my condition with my hang-ups, right? So that being said, I'm like, hey, I'm okay then. I'm okay, you're okay, right? At some point, my daughter will have the psychological wherewithal to start to put my pieces together and understand why I am the way I am. And she's already doing it. I can already see it in her eyes. She knows. She knows more about why I am the way I am, who I am, because she starts to see these pieces of the puzzle that I'm too close to see, right? And that's cool that I see it in her eyes. She's like, I got him. Yeah, she's starting to see why her papa is like the way her papa is, you know. And that's good. That she's going to be the one person in my life who is going to see me for who I am and why I am who I am. She'll know more about who I am than that makes a pretty picture. I love this little piece of toilet paper here, right? That's awesome, that little roll there. That's what I like to draw. I like to draw that type of stuff. The shading and the lighting and stuff and the way the fold and the ripple. Yeah, let's draw a roll of toilet paper together. Paper bag, you know. First year art stuff, you know, really fun. I'll have to bust out some of my art stuff or find some on the, on a throwback or flashback day. That'll be fun, won't it? Look at some of my past artwork. I'd like to do some drawing or painting here live. And next season, when I come back with a new set and more props and more cameras and stuff, then it'll kind of be enhanced, man. I see somebody checking into the show late here, as I'm just getting ready to sign off in about 5 minutes or so. But yeah, it's been a fun morning here, sitting here venting and dealing with my past and present psychological issues. Yeah, so it's been fun. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. There I go. All morning long I keep drifting off into my own little world. As much as I really need to be here in the now, I find myself just drifting off into space, you know, thinking about shit, making plans I'm never going to be able to carry out. Getting lost in shit I can't control. There you go. There you have it. I need to talk to Phil Donahue. That's what I need. I need to call into Phil Donahue and see if I can get on his show. And maybe he can, Jerry Springer, right? Jerry Springer. That'd probably be more appropriate for my family. Is to if I could have gotten my whole family on Jerry Springer back in the 90s and said, okay, tell me the truth, right? Yep. I guess it's just about time to get a piece of bagel, some orange juice. Try to put some kind of day together here. I know we got to go out and get the boys' nails trimmed. So that's an hour into town, deal with stuff and come back. Then add on to that a few minutes at Home Depot. I've got to get more stuff for that fucking swamp cooler. At some point, once it's all up and working and everything, we'll eventually order the pads for it, which is going to be like $150 fucking dollars. But you have to order the specific sizes for that specific model and shit. and all of the clips, and they're cardboard, they're hardboard stuff, so you gotta, you know, if you're gonna get them shipped, then you have to think about, are they gonna get broken up in the shipping, and then you bring a box home from the store, and then it's in pieces, and so there's all of that. And it's not like the old straw stuff or that blue spongy stuff. I mean, this stuff is hard, brittle crap. I don't know, maybe the newer stuff isn't as brittle as the older stuff. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, nobody really is ever going to go back and watch these shows in their entirety to get it, you know, because most of the people who I want to get it aren't going to get it anyway. Even if they watch it, they'll see it and you know, dissect it from their point of view and not even try to see my point of view, you know. So it'll just kind of lay flat, you know. So most of this stuff is for me. Well, it's all for me, right? And it's also mostly for my daughter, right? Because at some point, whether it's on my computer or on YouTube or on a hard drive or on DVDs or something, it'll be around for her to have, and it'll be better than home movies. It'll be better than a photo album, right? It'll be a day-to-day log of what's going on in Papa's head. And at some point, she can actually start to put stuff together and get to know me as well as get to know why. You know, get to know why. And maybe I'll never get to understand exactly why and to know everything, all of the truths and everything about me. But maybe she will. Maybe she'll be able to eventually put it all together. Genetic testing, that's one thing I need to do, is I need to get some DNA tests done. It's hard to do and nobody will talk to you. How do you get that kind of shit? Nobody will give you the time of day, you know. You're just too demanding. Oh my God, he wants what? He wants honesty, truth, compassion, understanding, acceptance. Are you kidding me? All that that's too much, man. Can I just pick one and then only give like halfway? Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, all right. Well, I guess I'm gonna hit the road because it's late and I gotta get something to eat. And this is just kind of going nowhere anyway. All right, love you people. You're all in my thoughts every day. I'm here. You're here. We're all here. Let's get together more often and do this and see if we can't get something done. Something fun. All right, people. Take care. Be kind. Stay good. Spread peace and love. Go out and do something kind. Help somebody. Just for the sake of doing it. And most especially, stay weird, people. Love you. I'll see you in the evening. Adios.